All right, well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. It's good to see all of you here. How are things? It's Thursday afternoon here on, July 30th, 2026? And I'm out here in eastern Utah, out in the middle of the desert with the Utah Geological Survey, and we are once again digging dinosaurs. I'm glad you could join us. If it's your very first time here, let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch, and I guess to a certain extent on YouTube as well. Hello to all the people watching the VOD later. Doing science outreach. As a dinosaur paleontologist, I mostly study dinosaurs. I want to make it very clear from the beginning that paleontology isn't just dinosaurs. Paleontology is the entire the history of life on Earth, fossil record. It's everything from fossil blue whales to fossil bacteria, bugs, and everything in between. Plants, animals, fungi, protists, archaea, whatever. If it's an organism that left record of its existence in the rocks, then that is the purview of the paleontologist. Dinosaurs are just the tip of the iceberg there. But I happen to study the tip of the iceberg. I'm primarily a dinosaur paleontologist, and dinosaurs are what we're excavating here with the Utah Geological Survey. Utah State paleontologist Jim Kirkland is there in the quarry right now. Actually, if we're real quiet, we can probably hear him talk. His voice really carries. But yeah, Jim discovered dinosaurs like Utahraptor and Gastonia, and those are from the Cedar Mountain Formation, from the beginning of the Cretaceous period here in North America. And we're digging in the Cedar Mountain Formation today, although the rocks we're digging in are even older than those ones. Gastonia and Utahraptor are from the upper Yellowcat member of the Cedar Mountain Formation. We're digging in the lower Yellowcat, just above the top of the Morrison Formation. So at the very bottom of the Cretaceous period. It's exciting stuff. And we've got a new species of iguanodont dinosaur that we're doing our best to excavate every bit of that we can find. And you'll see some of that today. So I'm glad you're here. Let me know if you've got any questions. Given that this is a live broadcast, it's interactive, we've got the chat right here. If you've got any questions, if you've got any things that you're unclear about, if you have anything that you'd like to share or enthuse about or whatever, just type it right into the chat. And I'll do my best to keep an eye on that and make this a two-way street. Not a lecture, but a conversation, So, welcome to Paleontologizing. And Mac D87 says a new species? Oh, yeah. So, shapeshift, not iguanodon per se, but a member of the iguanodontid family. So, iguanodon is a really well-known dinosaur, and it is, at least to the general public, if not to scientists as well, it's the best known member of that family. Our critter has not been named yet, but it is about 20 million years older than Iguanodon. And probably not a direct ancestor of Iguanodon itself, but a member of the same family. And we've got an illustration of this type of critter. Oh, here. In here somewhere. There we go, a lot like this. Yeah, so this is Cedrorestes. May or may not be the same animal as Planocoxa. This is generally the kind of critter that we're talking about here. Although our critter is even older than Cedrorestes. We're digging in rocks that are lower down. They are older, and so our critter is older than either of those dinosaurs. Ours, because of its stratigraphic horizon, like where it's from in the rock layers, we've got an excellent indication that this animal's a lot older. And the morphology, the bones that we have so far tell us that this critter is different. It's unique. It's something new. So there's some iguanodonts right there. This is a rough approximation. This is an artist's depiction of what this ancient environment would have been like. So the rocks that we're digging in here represent an ancient kind of lowland floodplain like this, very swampy. There were ferns everywhere, and we find evidence of those ferns in the quarry. We also find teeth from crocs, like you see right there, chowing down on that dead ankylosaur. There's Yurgavuchia right there, this little meat-eating dinosaur. That comes from right over there, like less than 100 feet away. Less than 30 meters. There's Mierosaurus, which is also from this particular time. That is from right over there as well, less than 30 meters away. But this critter here has not been named yet, this new iguanodont. Karen Poole is currently working on this critter. And interesting, it's shown with thumb spikes there. Probably didn't have those. But it's interesting stuff, yeah. Anyway, little primer. And you love iguanodon? Awesome. This is, yeah, our critter is significantly older than iguanodon, but a member of the same family. So iguanodon itself is a genus of dinosaur. Iguanodon bernisartensis is a species of iguanodon. That's from the early Cretaceous of Europe. Our critters are from the earlier Cretaceous, way earlier in time, about 20 million years earlier, from Utah. And probably would have looked maybe a bit more like Camptosaurus. It might be a direct descendant of Camptosaurus from the Morrison Formation. Camptosaurus being right... Don't we have a phylogeny here somewhere? There we go, Camptosaurus right there. And the yellow with the stripes. Camptosaurus. Our critter probably looked a lot more like that. Or a bit more like that. Anyway, there's Iguanocolossus and Iguanodon. Our critters from earlier. Yeah, only a few million years after Camptosaurus, might be a direct descendant. Who knows? So yeah. And Shapeshift is either an ancestor of Iguanodon or a cousin of a sort? Exactly. You're catching on, yeah. Yeah. And Neche says, yeah, do we use technology like scanner? No, that sort of thing doesn't work. That's a question that I get quite often here on Twitch, is like, well, you know, how do you find fossils? What kind of advanced, expensive technology do you use? And we always laugh at that because that sort of technology just doesn't work. It's no good. And even if it did work, we wouldn't be able to afford it, most likely. We find fossils the old-fashioned way, by staring at the ground as we walk along and finding bits of things eroding out. So here, we'll take you over here. Before we go into the quarry in a little bit, here's just a little primer on what we call prospecting. So when you get to an area where you know you have rock of the right age to find whatever you're looking for, so say we're looking for dinosaurs from the very beginning of the Cretaceous period. Well, this is how old these rocks are. They're about 142 million years old. This is right on the money. So we know this is a good place to look. So the way that you find these things is you walk along and you look at the ground, you look for anything eroding out that could potentially be a bone. So, like this. Could this be? This looks different. Nope, there's a bit of chert right there. Not a bone, but looks different at least. What about this right here? Yeah, we've got some sandstone right there. Yeah, out there. So, oh, and what is this? Well, that is either a piece of bone, but more likely a piece of fossil wood. See the texture right there? This is not just a rock, this is the fossilized or permineralized remains of a once living thing. This, I think, is... hard to say. It's been on the surface a long time, been really eroded. But I'd say this is probably fossil wood rather than fossil bone. But that's the sort of thing that you find. It takes a trained eye to do this kind of thing. And you couldn't use a scanner for this because, well, it would just scan the surface and it's not going to get you anywhere. In order to be able to tell that something is bone, for instance, you need to be able to pick it up, you know, turn it over in your hand, look at the texture, maybe you even break it so you can see the interior and what that looks like. You know, there's no substitute for the human eye and the human brain. This sort of thing is way too complex and difficult for any sort of computer algorithm or anything. It's something that takes training, experience, practice, And sometimes some creative thinking. You look at something that you've never seen before and you go, well, what in the world could this be? You know? You reason it through. And here, I'm using my reasoning to determine that this lag bolt in the middle of the road is not a good thing to have in the middle of the road. If one of us drives our vehicle through here, I'm going to throw that back over there. That's better. Yeah. And likewise, you couldn't use a ground-penetrating radar device to scan for fossil bones in here because they are pretty much the same density as the surrounding rock. The bones, these fossils, have been permineralized. They've been partially turned to stone, and so they have much of the same properties, most of the same properties, as the rock that encases them. So, you use ground-penetrating radar here and it goes, yep, it's rock, Does that make sense? I hope it does. And Dreamer of the Blue says, AI not taking your job anytime soon. I mean, I don't think AI is taking too many people's jobs, to be honest. I think most of that is just hype. I'm not impressed with all this stuff. Anywho. And did we get a raid here? The Peep Show TTV. Hey, thank you for raiding in. How was your stream? I hope it was really good. Dino Descendants raiding in? Welcome, Peep Show. Sorry it took me a minute to see your raid, but I appreciate you bringing everybody over. How did your stream go? Tell me about it. And Samu Samurai says, wait, so is Aladar an iguanodon or the larger Iguanacolossus? That's the funny thing. Iguanodon is actually larger than Iguanacolossus, despite the name. Yeah. Iguanodon, I think, is the biggest iguanodont, or iguanodontid that we have so far. Iguanodon bernissartensis is really big. Really, really big. Iguanodon is smaller than Iguanodon. Anyway, Aladar from Disney's Dinosaurs, because Iguanacolossus more recently than that film came out. We didn't know about that animal at that time, so it can't be based on it, if that makes sense. But, and Eat It Dads, hey, thank you for the raid too. Sorry it took me a minute to see that. But welcome, Eat It Dads and raiders. Hope you're having an excellent day. Welcome to the desolate deserts of eastern Utah. We're out here digging dinosaurs with the Utah Geological Survey. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. Let me go introduce you to the crew and show this here. I've got a jacket that I've got to put on the map and in the specimen log, and I've got to label it. This will be today. I'll show you how all of that works. And yeah, So here's the quarry right now. Uncle Don took off this morning, go back to civilization for the weekend. He'll be back on Monday. But we've got Paleo Ken here, looking quite vibrant. His blaze orange shirt. Can you show that off, actually? I think people would like that. Nice. That's so cool. I would really want that shirt if it weren't bright orange.
There were green ones last year.
There were green ones last year? Is this just for the field crew?
They give them out at the end of the season. So,
okay.
Luke gave one to, everyone on Andre's crew. So
nice.
Yeah.
I didn't...
They don't put them in the gift shop.
Yeah.
They give them to people.
This is only for VIPs.
No. Anyone associated with the museum. So.
Well, Ken is 1,000,000% a VIP here. And one of our moderators. So, sometimes, yeah. And again, apologies to Dr. Hubbs, whom he accidentally banned.
Banning you while
How did that
my phone was in my pocket. So.
Yeah. If anybody does get banned suddenly without explanation...
It's me. It's me.
It's probably a mistake, so don't get too upset. We will rectify that. But Megaverse says sick shirt. I know, isn't that really cool? Yeah. The single worst day, the KPG boundary. And what's that in reference to, Ken? I'm putting you on the spot.
How the KPG happened in one day, whereas every other major mass extinction was over hundreds of thousands of years to millions of years. So.
Yeah. So when we're talking about mass extinctions, this is the only one where it was like, oh man, just Earth had a bad weekend, and everything was different after that when that asteroid hit. Yeah. We also have Victoria and Crystal and Laura over here. Doing my best not to bother them as they concentrate. We've got Jameson right there, also concentrating. We've got Marcello.
I wasn't concentrating.
No?
I was distracted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ruining things for you, Marcello.
I'm back in. Back at it. Brushing away, digging away.
And we have Ethan and Nick and Fisher today. And Ethan and Fisher are twins. Look at those shirts.
So cute.
That's really cool. I wish I could have gotten one of those.
It's not too late.
I know, we still could. I don't think we're going to do a field trip like we did in previous years because we're running out of digging days. But, we've got, 7 digging days left after today, I think? Going through next Wednesday, I guess? Oof. But yeah, time flies. Major Risk says, I love the name Marcello.
What up?
Somebody in the chat says they love your name.
Oh, word. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's, yeah. His name's kind of become a catchphrase because that's one of the lines in the... Did anybody see the recent Walking with Dinosaurs from 2025? The Gastonia episode? Marcello is in that. And I think, is it Josh Lively goes, oh, what you got there, Marcello?
Yeah, he does say that. He says that. He asked me about a bone.
Yeah, so...
It's like a dinosaur freeway. It's like a dino highway in here. That was a cool line.
That was a cool line. Yeah.
Thank you.
You were low-key the star of that. I don't know if you know that.
It was...
I can't say that when I have
sideburns?
him on there with me.
The sideburns?
You mean the mutton chops?
Mutton chop, sorry.
The mutton chops.
good stuff. That was... We had crew members in it. I was supposed to be in that too, and then it turned out the BBC made Josh Lively sign a contract saying there could be no other cameras on site. So, like, I couldn't stream from there, nor in years after that until it finally premiered and the embargo lifted. It's a big pain in the butt.
Yeah, we had an amateur, guy filming us
Yeah.
at Utah Raptor Ridge,
Uh-huh.
and one of our benefactors brought a National Geographic crew out,
Uh-huh.
and they're all of a sudden telling us, you can't be filming here. It's like, it's our site.
Right.
You're here as our guest. It's not like you funded us.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, man, they're like, no, you can't film.
It's the entitlement, you know?
Yeah, I was just like,
Right here next.
put a penny toward this.
Mine is better. That was my first thought. But.
Yeah, anyway, so this is our... You'll see some of those capped with edges. You guys had an excellent flip here earlier. That was really nice.
This guy's a pro.
This guy's a dinosaur freeway.
Stars.
Major Risk says, what you got there, Marcello, needs to be on a shirt. I could make you a shirt like that, Marcello.
I think that could happen.
Yeah.
I think there could be.
Just have two floating heads. There's Josh's head and there's your head.
What you got?
What you got there, Marcello?
Yeah, and anyone who works Lori's site can wear it. And
There you go, yeah.
it'll be in remembrance of walking with dinosaurs. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I'm going to be doing a lot of screen printing when I get home, so I might put that on my list, you know?
All right. Better than what Alyssa made.
Yeah. Oh, man. You got one of those shirts, right?
What?
The poison strip shirt that Alyssa made?
I think so.
You didn't, with the Gastonia on
You
it?
don't need to know.
No?
Oh. It was highly risque.
Not afraid of it.
And kind of disturbing looking. It was actually really hilarious. I have that shirt. I've not worn it once.
We're working on the book,
Yeah.
the Dinosaur Frontier book.
Yeah.
James Kuthner doing the art, the big pull-out art pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
Just dealing with the ankylosaur, mock-ups.
Yeah, so tough.
He ends up doing a series of like, okay, how did these things reproduce?
That didn't make it into the book, did it?
They didn't make it into the book, but
remember
I
that
got
picture.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny.
It's like, yeah, they did.
Yeah. How did they
Obviously.
reproduce? Very carefully.
Yeah, I mean.
All those spikes and
Oh,
yeah.
man.
What makes
Splates.
sense? How
It's like, yeah, how do you get together?
Yeah.
That's when we got to flip somebody over.
all the places we were working in Wyoming.
Jim, did you coin the term splate?
No, that was Bill Blows
Oh, okay, yeah.
in the Ankylosauria volume.
Okay.
And there are a lot of people. Susie Maidman hates the word.
Yeah, she's told me. Yeah.
Oh man, she hates that. And it's like, totally fits, and it's one bone.
Yeah.
You know, and when he first described it as a new term for armor,
Yeah.
he also said Stegosaurus in China have it.
Uh-huh.
They don't. It's not the same thing. It's the third cervical ring in derived polacanthine.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's very distinctive, big broad plate-like thing that would attach to the edge of the ring.
So it's only in the neck
and
region.
then,
The
and
ones
then
on the
this
tail are not
long
splates?
pointed part now.
Interesting.
Splate one position.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me go get that diagram actually. And
It
I'll
is
have you
definitely a character.
point at that. Oops.
In
I'm
Ankylosaur,
trying not to get my cord hooked on here. Rip the cables out. Let's see.
But yeah,
Ontogeny.
splate is a character. Did you have a splate?
Yeah, I've got this diagram with two different Gastonia species. And, oh, and thank you, Kevin661, for the subscription. Really appreciate it. Good afternoon to you from Utah. It's afternoon here. And it's hot. It's hot. 101.3 Fahrenheit. In the shade. And I should get some water. I'm thinking of how warm it is. Good idea to hydrate here. Right, where's that Ankylosaur diagram that I made for Lori's site? There it is. Yeah, so we've got two different species of Gastonia here. This is what this animal might have looked like from the side. We've got other Ankylosaurs from this site, from this time range. We don't have them named yet. We've got brand new Ankylosaurs we've got bits and pieces of. I don't know if you found any pieces of them so far this year in this quarry, but they're floating around. And Jim is working on describing two new Ankylosaurs right now. They should be published hopefully by the end of the year. So Jim is an Ankylosaur expert. There's a top view, side view skeletal, and then side view flashed out. Gastonia burgii and Gastonia lori mcwinniei. They may or may not be members of the same lineage. We're not sure. But, yeah. And oh, there's the splates. Okay. Spike plate. But we'll have Jim talk about this real briefly. And Ankies are really cool mythic Mexican. Yeah, they're Jim's favorite for sure.
They're fun.
So you're hanging out with Baba today?
There we go. So I think it already says on it's already labeled, but could we just have you point out the splates nonetheless?
Okay.
That's one of your figures, right?
You got both. Oh, you don't.
That's the Greg Paul.
Yeah, that's. Oh, there is Lori McWinnie there.
Yeah.
It's like, is that burgii? Yeah. See, my view, burgii, has two similar ones. One's a bit more pointy, but that's a splate.
Interesting.
And Lori McWinnie has a Polacanthus foxi, Hoplitosaurus.
But Gastonia burgii does not.
Hmm.
No splate on.
There's stuff like, is that a splate?
Oh.
It doesn't strike me as a splate. I think that's sacrocaudal.
So you think that's
I don't know.
okay? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they're the same genus.
But the point is, splates are only here at the
only
base
here,
of the neck.
it's you see how it's got much longer spines than
Yeah, yeah.
compared to what we have for Gastonia. Very similar size animals, but there's a lot of differences. I mean, look at the caudal plates,
Yeah.
shape differences and stuff. It's like that's a different genus.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Do you think they're members of the same lineage?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically. I think Laura is interested in tackling, that like how are these things related to each other?
Right.
What I'm trying to do right now, is define the taxonomic units.
Okay.
And like obviously this is within the group because it's got there's a lot of characters that they only have, and the first ring is always this flex bone with a spine or even just a little knob on it. But that is in all the polacanthines that we've got. But we don't, we may well have it for Polacanthus, which was at the Compton Bay specimen, I think. You know, but so much of that stuff's so fragmentary. It's like you have all the parts.
Right.
But even our giant guy, I think we off end of a splate, and I stuck these down there because they're similar to these, but. We don't know. We don't got any place.
Because all this stuff is disarticulated, Chad.
Yeah.
That's what you got to understand.
We've gotten a real comfort level of what do lateral plates look like.
Right.
And these are lateral for sure, as opposed to up on the back. See how solid the bases of the dorsals are? Can go, oh, they're on the side too. No, they're not. Because you look at the ridging, see the ridges there?
Yeah.
And if you look at the close-ups of the armor, they have ridges around them, and bigger scutes have ridges around them. That's a diagnostic dorsal armor feature. So to me, it's just like, these are just dorsals with big spines coming out of the top.
So to help explain this to the audience, since you found this stuff disarticulated, it was all mixed up. Which closely related ankylosaurs did you look at?
Well, you see this diagram? Angular ones in front of the sacral shield. We have that articulated.
Oh, okay, so those work together.
Where they fell and were folded under the front of the sacral shield on an ilium, the Gaston block. So we do know at least one row, and they're totally surrounded, each one by what I call ossicles. Little very nondescript, osteoderms, 1 to 2 centimeters. All gaps seem to be filled with little ossicles. Other ankylosaurs, they're not there. There's scales that certainly filled it. It wasn't just skin. It makes no sense. But, they're forming under the scales. That would be interstitial between the larger rows of things. But, finding an upside down one, just like, treat it like touch tomb, I tell you. When we get some in articulation.
So what's the closest living relative, or closest relative to this critter, not living? Not
relative.
Living. Relative would be birds.
Yeah.
What's the closest relative of, say, Gastonia that can give you clues as to how the armor is actually arranged? Would it be like Sauropelta?
Across Pelta, it's like arranged.
Yes, when I'm talking about the arrangement of
notice
these osteoderms.
Yeah, we have enough to know there are osteoderms that go across the back in various combinations. How many rows?
So what's your
how many in a row? The key is basically blending together what we know from like Panoplosaurus.
Okay,
Sauropelta. Sauropelta, the front of that, 3D mount's only up to like here.
Right, okay.
The armor. It doesn't go up, doesn't have any shoulder stuff, neck stuff at all. And it really kind of doesn't really have much. It's just got the bases of a couple plates, and that's it. But we know pretty clearly that, there's a number of plates for Sauropelta. So it had some, at least in this part of the world.
Right.
And in ankylosaurids, we have tails, they have plates. Except there's generally like a distance of a plate length between each one. Very distinctive. They all have gaps. These things, the way they're like, recurved, so they could actually, if you took your tail and reached and grabbed it and did that, there go your fingers.
So these are, what you're saying is that these plates here along the tail, as the tail would move laterally side to side, they would act almost like shears? Like scissors?
See the asymmetry of the bases?
Yeah.
There's left and rights clearly, up and downs on these things. But it makes the plate be at a slight angle on the tail, and then you look at the way it recurves. You put the keratin over that thing, and the spacing, a lot to do. This is quick and dirty me cutting out pictures. But I am certain that these things are set up that they come pretty close together with the keratin, because they are not symmetrical when you look at the base figures. Look at the bottoms of them. It's like, the bases are all asymmetric, so they're a slight angle. See how with the plates in the neck of Miragaia? It's clearly those plates are not like parallel verticrum. They're at an angle going down. It's pretty neat,
Cool stuff.
Not so much. It's the puzzle. Just that I can prove that those are from the back. I think about as close as you can prove anything. And then you look at compared here. These have solid bases. Polacanthus itself has spines that are nearly identical. but they don't have the ridging and stuff on them. But otherwise, they're nearly identical. But that whole thick zone there is in the dermis.
Right.
So it's like,
embedded in the skin.
Yeah, it's like that thick, interval,
So it's like got deep roots. In
Yeah,
the
they're
skin,
just
essentially.
really planted in there.
Yeah.
Whoa. It just a good snap.
Like a whip crack.
Yeah, that was what it did. Just the perfect boom. Yeah. Not a huge amount of
Thanks,
energy.
Mitchell.
Very well placed energy. But yeah, it's just almost a cartoon, thing.
Yeah.
But there's stuff we know. They got 3 rings. And that's, Lori McWhinney proves that to me, absolutely. They have 3 rings, and the rings and polycanthines aren't fused other than this thing.
Right.
And is there someone in the middle of that?
Yeah.
Or Draco Pelt has a midline one. Right, it's the only midline armor I know of in a Dinosaur.
Yeah.
It's in situ. We know it's there.
Yeah.
The first ring. It's the only ring. But there is a oval one that goes right there, fairly symmetrical. And I expect they probably all have something like that there.
Cool. Thanks, Jim.
Suspect.
Neat stuff. Yeah.
Every single thing I think I get more evidence for is
I feel like I could have moved this half the size.
Let's talk about that for a minute. This helps a little the time. Most of the dinosaurs that we find throughout the world are there are definitely exceptions to that. Sometimes you get complete skeletons. But much of the time we're dealing with pretty limited information. We don't have all the osteology. We don't have the whole skeleton to look at. So like this right here, there's some speculation going on here. We don't have every bone of this animal. But close relatives to fill in the blanks. That's how it works. Paleontology, with dinosaur paleontology. That's what I do, so I can tell you about that directly. When you don't have a complete skeleton of a new species of dinosaur, you try and think about, okay, what are this critter's closest relatives? Which other dinosaurs is it most similar to? And then you can use bits and pieces of them to kind of fill in the blanks. And of course, we're very forthright about this, When we're publishing a new paper, you outline exactly which bones you have, what they look like, and then what your reasoning is when you say, okay, well, say Iguanacolossus, we only have a few bones from that critter, but we can use Iguanodon and Hippodraco and a number of other dinosaurs to kind of fill in the blanks, and we can get a pretty good approximation for what that animal would have looked like. That's what Jim is doing here too, where all the Gastonia fossils have all been disarticulated. So these parts fell apart after death. The bones get all jumbled up, and so armor scutes and plates and spikes and splates, where do they go? What's their placement on the body? Well, for clues, we can look at those close relatives. Because since evolution works, different critters, they evolve and change over time. Your closest relatives are the ones who are most similar to you. You share the most characteristics with your closest relatives. You can use them to kind of help start to fill in the blanks. We're always try to be really forthright about that, and we go, okay, well, this part is some guesswork, and this part over here, that's an educated guess based on this information, that information. But that's what we're doing. We're using those complete skeletons, or the semi-complete skeletons. We're using the associated material, the articulated stuff. We use that to fill in the blanks for the more mysterious guys. Does that make sense? Yeah. And Dreamer of the Blue says learning as much as you can from just one jawbone or whatever is so impressive, to be honest. It's what we got to do, You always want to be able to find more bones, and that's what we're doing here in the quarry today, and we have been for the past 2 weeks. The more bones, the better. But the more bones you have, also the easier it gets, There's some dinosaurs, some that have been recently discovered, that are just super mysterious, and we're like, what the heck is this? We don't even know what it's related to. We have pictures that paleo artists have drawn of these critters in life, but those are highly speculative. They're probably mostly wrong. We're talking about dinosaurs like Jacapil from South America, from Argentina, right? Jacapil, we don't even know really what kind of dinosaur it is. Like, what family does it belong to? What major group? Is it a thyreophorian? Is it an armored dinosaur? Is it a ceratopsian, a horned dinosaur? We only have a few bits and pieces, and they're all really weird looking, and whatever it is, it's going to be strange. And so the illustrations that you see online are very speculative. And that's kind of fun, because you can reconstruct the critter in different ways. Reconstruct it as a thyreophorian, as this weird stem ankylosaur, as a bizarre kind of super basal ceratopsian. And that means that the blank pieces that you fill in, like, they'll end up looking way different, you know? Do we give, a shelf on the back of its head, like a ceratopsian would have? Or do we give it a more ankylosaur-looking back of its head? Stuff like that, you know? Yeah. But for most,
Ontogeny.
we can, for most of them, they obviously fit in, and so there's not too much guesswork there. But there's a few really exciting ones where it's like, we don't know what the heck this thing is. Just kind of go crazy when you're doing well, maybe don't go crazy, but be creative. You have license to do that sometimes. Welcome, Doki Doki Baka. Hello, hello. Yeah. And we are doing well, Stress Test. Thanks for saying. And excellent question from MacD87. Who do these fossils belong to? Well, in the United States, it all depends on the land ownership. So, unfortunately, on private land, the fossils belong to the landowner, and they can do whatever they like with them. A landowner could sell them, could, keep them for himself, could give it to his dog to chew on, like, whatever. It doesn't matter how scientifically important it is. If it's on private land, then it's private property. All bets are off, We don't dig on private land here. We're digging on Bureau of Land Management, public federal land. BLM land is what it's called. And so we have been given special permission by the Bureau of Land Management. We've been given permits to be able to do excavations here in this area. And so all of the fossils that we are excavating, because they are off of public land, they are a public good. They are public property. They belong to we, the people of the United States, and to a large extent, they belong to the people of the world, Dinosaurs, I believe, should belong to everyone. You and me and everybody else. All the fossils that we're digging up here can never be bought or sold or auctioned off. They belong to the people of the United States. They must go to a museum to be available for scientific study and sometimes public display and enjoyment. So every fossil that we're first go to the Utah Geological Survey in Salt Lake City. That is where these fossils will be opened up. The jackets will be opened up and cleaned and glued and kind of prettied up a bit. And then they can be studied. And then in just a couple years, by law, these have to go to the Natural History Museum of Utah in Salt Lake City, a public museum. Every fossil that we dig up here will belong to we the people for as long as there is a we the people. Long after all of us are dead, these fossils are going to be available for public enjoyment, scientific study, all of that. We're really hoping that in a few years these are going to go on display in Salt Lake City and maybe be available for molding and casting so that replicas can be made and sent around the world to different museums, and everybody will be able to enjoy this new iguanodont that we're working on. So I hope that answers your question there. MacD, thanks for asking it. Yeah. And let's see. Grumel Chen says, good evening from Germany. Good afternoon from Utah. Yeah. Tesco Horsemeat says, were dinosaurs alive or dead when we were fishes? So here's the thing. You're talking about like when we as human beings, when we can trace our lineage back to when we were fishes? Dinosaurs were fishes at the same time. Like mammals, dinosaurs, as a kind of reptile, are also descended from fishes. So let's get that out. My tree of life, Bingar. Okay. So, every critter on our planet, from bacteria to baleen whales to bears to bromeliads, every critter on our planet is related. As far as we know, all life on Earth had one origin, and that has been branching and splitting and diversifying in the 3 or 4 billion years after that first life form developed. And so dinosaurs are here on this branch, on the reptile family tree. We humans are over here in the mammals. But we can trace our lineages back to here, and this is where you get the lobe-finned fishes. So both dinosaurs and mammals, here's mammals over here too, elephant, camel, mammals, reptiles, we can trace that lineage back to fishes. And that's that transition when fishes, bony lobe-finned fishes, when they started going onto land, that happened back in like the Devonian period. So around about, 350 million years ago, give or take. If my math is correct there. But yeah. Your local furry says that's a big tree. Yeah, I mean, it encompasses every living thing on our planet. Including trees. Here. Jellyfish. Dragonflies. Sperm whales. Turtles. Sunflowers. Frogs. Yeah, there's lots of different ways that you can draw a tree like this, but the point is, the further back you go in time, the closer and closer you get to the origin of life, things start to look more and more similar. But as they diversify, as these species split and yield more species, they split further, things get more and more and more different. So you end up with things as different as rhinoceros and nautilus, or sea sponges and stegosaurs. But you go back far enough, things get more and more and more similar. And this is not just known through the fossil record. This is not only the purview of the paleontologist. This is independently verified through fields like genetics. You know, every living thing on our planet today has DNA. And the more closely related you are to another species, the more DNA you have in common, the more similar your genomes are. So this is one of the grandest, most important scientific discoveries of all time. I get really excited about this kind of thing. So does every paleontologist or biologist or botanist or zoologist or whoever. Really get taught in American schools for the most part. Because there are some people who hide of this idea. They hate it. Because if all living things on our planet are related to one another, if we're all one big family, then not only does that mean that we as human beings should be more understanding toward each other, less prejudicial, not just to other members of our species, but to members of other species too. We're all one great big family, you know? That's what science tells us. A lot of folks don't want you to know that. But there it is. Let's see. Tesco Horsemeat says, how did they die and we didn't? Oh, we almost did. That's the thing. If you're talking about dinosaurs. So throughout the history of life, different lineages evolve and change, and then sometimes things go really bad. You get some sort of major event, like a huge volcanic eruption, like happened at the end of the Permian. You just have, like, for hundreds of thousands of years, volcanoes just spewing noxious gases into the atmosphere, like changing the composition of the air, acidifying the oceans. At the end of the Permian, it was something like 90% of all species on our oceans and on land. It was really bad. Things like that happen. There's 5 mass extinctions, 5 like huge just catastrophes that we've seen in the fossil record. 5 times when life on Earth has come fairly close to being wiped out, or at least significantly enfeebled. The last one of these happened 66 million years ago. Asteroid hit our planet. Just a space rock the size of San Francisco slammed into the Gulf of Mexico, just really messed things up. The dinosaurs were wiped out by this. We still have dinosaurs around today. In fact, we have over 10,000 species of them. We just call them birds. Birds evolved from dinosaurs, so they are a kind of dinosaur, and that's how that works. Our ancestors, the mammals, managed to survive that, but only... there's a few papers that I know about that should be out, hopefully relatively soon, talking about the rates of extinction for different groups at the end of the Cretaceous, when the asteroid hit. And mammals nearly bought the farm then. We almost got sent upstate to live with grandma, or however the phrase goes. It's something like 90% of mammal species, at least in North America, died out. So mammals almost got completely killed off by that too. Only barely did they survive. And probably because mammals all throughout the age of dinosaurs tend to be very small. They were probably mostly nocturnal. They were little mouse and rat-like critters, vole-like critters, shrew-like critters, scurrying around in the underbrush, living in burrows or in tree hollows, just eking out a survival and eking out an existence, I should say, in an age ruled by dinosaurs. But yeah, even they almost got wiped out. But because many of them were small, probably lived in burrows, didn't require much food, kind of eat whatever. Some of them managed to survive that global catastrophe, and that's why you and me are here today. You know? Yeah. Was there? Oh yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, if that hadn't happened, again, we wouldn't be here today. The funny thing is, mammals almost get wiped out completely. But you know who did get wiped out completely? The non-bird dinosaurs, who had ruled the planet for 150 million years. It was that extinction event that shoved the dinosaurs out of the picture, except for birds, and kind of let mammals step into the spotlight and become the more or less dominant terrestrial animals on our planet. Yeah. And there you go, Dreamer of the Blue. Yeah. Why mammals often have night vision, but not as many pigments or color vision. Yes, indeed. I talk about this all the time, Dreamer of the Blue. I'm so glad that you know this. Brilliant. And Prince Nerda says, how many years do you think it took for Earth to settle back to normal after the asteroid impact? Well, so there's people working on that. One of the loci? One of the centers of research on this is at the DMNS, Denver Museum of Nature and Science in Denver, Colorado. And Fisher and Ken over here have done some work with them. From what I understand, it took like a few million years for ecosystems to really start to come back. But let's ask Fisher real quick. You've got a question about the... ecosystems to, quote-unquote, recover from and higher diversity. With
museum has done a lot of things that are straddling the boundaries in other areas at the very beginning of the Paleocene, and they've done a lot of work in there. So you have like the first legumes in the fossil records, like the bean family, shows up in three separate distinct zones. The first 300,000 years is restricted to ferns, and there's turtles and a few small mammals, and then you have the second layer, or the second strata, you have more recovered ecosystem, you get larger mammals, and then the third one, I think, is at 700,000 or something, which is
Okay.
you're starting to get big mammals again.
How long until we have something the size of like a rhinoceros?
It's like late Paleocene. You have like Berry lambda and stuff. That's like black bear size, and then early in the Eocene you get stuff like Coryphodon, which is
We're talking like
size
10
of a
million
small
years
hippo.
until you
Yeah.
get. Shoot. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Fish.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. I really need to learn these things better, so I can just rattle it off. But I appreciate your expertise here. So, like I was saying, Fisher's done a lot of work with DMNS, the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, DMNS, and yeah, they've done a lot of work on this sort of thing. Fisher is really interested in fossil mammals, so this is his jam. A question like that. But yeah, he mentioned the fern zone, the fern spike. So after that asteroid impact, a ton of plant species also went extinct. Like maybe half of the plant species on Earth completely wiped out. So there's a time, I guess he said like the first 300,000 years or something. That sounds about right. When like the landscape was just ferns, like other plants hadn't come back yet. Ferns tend to do really well after a major disaster because many of them will germinate from spores. So stuff can just be floating in the air. You don't have to worry about seeds. They can also germinate on really rough terrain, like, you know, on lava that was, you know, just cooled a week ago or something. You can get ferns that start to grow out of that. So we have this, you know, just fern world for like 300,000 years after the asteroid impact. And then later, other kinds of plants start to come back, and then the mammals start to get bigger and bigger. But yeah, it's like 10 million years before you have like a rhino-sized mammal, which is nuts because I don't feel like it took dinosaurs that long to get big. Especially with some new stuff coming out from the Triassic that I know about that's not been published yet. But anywho, it's interesting stuff. I hope that answers your question there. And Cliff says, were there flying birds at the time of the asteroid impact? Yeah, so there had been flying birds, you know, avian dinosaurs. Things like Archaeopteryx, feathered dinosaurs, and like birds that you would if you were to see one from the Cretaceous, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a bird. Those had been around since the late Jurassic, at least. They'd been around for about 80 million years before the asteroid hit. Plenty. They were all over the place. And they may have even been pushing the pterosaurs out of their ecosystems by the end of the Cretaceous. Pterosaurs do seem to get larger air, maybe, by the end of the Cretaceous. So they may have been outcompeted by birds. At least that's one idea. It's a difficult one to test, but yeah. But yeah, lots of birds. New scientific paper of the insane amount of dust in the air. Interesting, Dr. Tara. That looks interesting. G-Post. Verification successful. Nice. Heat and wildfires during the KPG mass extinction enhanced by fine dust. Ooh, boy. Oof. Yeah. It's interesting, like, a few years ago, well, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I don't know, I would have said, well, it's still kind of a mystery why dinosaurs and a bunch of other critters disappeared at the end of the Cretaceous. An asteroid seems to have probably played a role, but, you know, there may have been other factors. But the more work that's been done on this, and the more fossils that have been collected, the more tests that have been run on strata from the end of the Cretaceous and the beginning of the Paleocene, the more and more it seems like the asteroid was what really did it. And anything else was kind of a sideshow, whether we're talking volcanic eruptions or seaway regression or climate change. It seems as though the asteroid was really the primary culprit. Yeah. And question from FV Care Seviert. How large is the Utah Museum of Natural History's collection today? They've got a good number of specimens. We can ask Jim. It's fairly large. It's one of the largest fossil collections in North America, I want to say. And we are contributing to that each and every summer. We'll go ask Jim, actually. And C-Film says, did the dinosaurs who had feathers survive better than the non-feathered dinosaurs because of their feathers? Well, we know that they did survive better because birds were the only dinosaurs that survived. But was it because of their feathers? That may have played a role, but it seems like maybe the few birds who did survive, because most birds didn't. Again, like the mammals, birds were almost completely wiped out by that extinction event too. Only a handful of species seem to have survived. And when you look at who died and who didn't, when you're trying to look for patterns there, it seems like the lucky survivors were birds who tended to be smaller, maybe. Birds who didn't have teeth. Maybe birds who were eating seeds. Birds who were hanging out, living their life on the ground. They could still fly, but, you know, they weren't like solely living in trees because the trees got wiped out. And maybe birds who were hanging out in the water too. Like, think of the Cretaceous equivalent of like a duck or a goose. Those may have been the birds who... birds too. They may have been the only birds that survived that. And that's why they don't have teeth anymore. And all birds today are descended from ancestors who could fly. The few birds that survived were mostly small, lived on the ground or on the water. Kind of probably generalist diets. Maybe they ate seeds. They had no teeth. That seems to be the common themes there. There's an interesting PBS Eons video about this that you should check out if you're curious about this kind of thing. If I were back in the office, I would show you some clips from it. Because it's... yeah, it's instructive. And... let me get some more water. The asteroid took a great bite at toothed bird. Yeah, there you go, Jen Alex. Yep. Let's get some water. And got 404 people watching right now. Excellent. If you're just joining us, welcome to Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. And when I was a kid, I would have loved to have seen a live dinosaur dig and been able to ask questions of the paleontologists. So I'm trying to provide that nowadays. So if you've got questions, don't hesitate. I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. There's always a layer of dust at the bottom. Just silt. I just ingested that. It happens out here. Dust just gets into everything. Oh, I should say last night, we went into Moab, Utah, to go see Don DeBlue's talk, one of our fearless leaders. He gave an excellent talk on Triassic Age fossil footprints within Canyonlands National Park. So with the Utah Geological Survey, he did some looking around for footprints there and found a whole bunch of them. So really cool talk about that. Thousands upon thousands of fossil footprints from the Triassic. And then on our way to Moab, as we're going through there was this huge dust storm that we had to drive straight into. And we were thinking, oh no, if this or something similar hits camp, that could be rough. Like, are we going to get back and just see our camp destroyed? So anyway, we went to the talk and then went out to dinner afterward, which was really nice. And then we're driving back in the dark. I'm driving one of the vehicles, and I notice as we're getting into the little valley here, like, weird tracks. There should be tire tracks everywhere. We just left, 6 hours ago or whatever. Whatever it was. There should be tire tracks all over the place. There's none. Oh boy, there must have been a lot of wind to clear those tire tracks out. So I started to get a little nervous. And then we pull into camp there, and then one of our big portable garages with the metal frame and the canvas roof destroyed. It just ripped the canvas roof in half. So we had and stuff from camp was strewn all over the place by the wind. There were plastic pots and pans and just things scattered all over the place. And then several people's tents were damaged. Nobody's was destroyed, which is good. And I had foolishly failed to zip up some of the windows on my tent, so it's just like the mesh screen there, and there's a lot of dust in there. But other than that, the tent was great. I love my tent, heavy canvas tent. But like, I should have zipped that up because now everything's covered with dust. But that's what life in the desert is like. Everything gets covered in dust, and you learn to live with it, and you kind of learn to not just accept it, but almost enjoy it, I know a lot of people would not appreciate that. A lot of people could not abide that kind of thing. But we're out here living in the dust, in the sun, and everything else, and we're grateful to be here. I'm grateful. Yeah. And Moto says it's hard to even own patio furniture in southern Utah. The wind gets crazy. Oh yeah. Get to know your neighbors and what patio furniture they have, I'm sure, because then they can return it to you, or you can return theirs to them. Yeah. BCourt05 says, what are your main topics of research? That's a great question. Personally, I've worked almost entirely on dinosaurs so far. So in 2020, I was an author on a paper. My team was describing a new species of Alvarezsaur. So little stubby-armed, big-clawed, probably insect-eating dinosaur from the Hell Creek Formation. Trirarchuncus prairiensis is its name. Means Captain Hook of the prairie on account of these extremely short, goofy arms with huge hooked claws on them. So yeah, I've worked on Alvarezsaurs for a while. I presented on that critter in 2013 at the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology conference. Then we finally published it in 2020. And I've done some work on Spinosaurids, and actually there's a paper I need to get published soon about that. Big, long-snouted, big-clawed, fish-eating dinosaurs from the Cretaceous. So I've got a paper about that hopefully coming out. I need to sit down with Denver Fowler, my co-author, get that thing hammered out and send it off for publication. Submit it for publication, rather. And then I've got some other dinosaur projects too, some of which I could go into detail about, and some of which I need to stay hush-hush about right now. But apart from dinosaurs, over the past year, I have become utterly obsessed with leatherback sea turtles. These incredible creatures that they are around today. They are the most splendid, superb, superlative of all turtles. So they're incredibly cool animals. So I've been getting involved with research and conservation on modern leatherbacks, and I want to figure out their fossil history too, or at least start to. So I'm starting a project on those guys, doing a literature review, trying to figure out what do we know, what don't we know about this group, something that I'm kind of new to. But a literature review is an excellent way to get involved with and also become really well acquainted with the literature on a particular topic. So it's a good starting point for me to get involved with fossil dermacheliids, the leatherback turtle family. That's avenues of research. And yeah. Cass the Dreamer says, I drew a Trirarchuncus in my old sketchbook. Very cool. And let's see. And yeah, Cass, yeah, leatherbacks are majestic indeed. And Koobst says, do you have a favorite currently living animal? It might be the leatherback, honestly. I got to meet some in Florida ago. Back in May. I was working with the Loggerhead Marine Life Center, doing some nighttime field work on leatherbacks, documenting them, taking data on them, tagging them, on Juno Beach on Florida's Atlantic coast. That was incredible. And then I got to go of Dr. Jeanette Wyneken, and she is authority on leatherback anatomy, and got to see some live leatherbacks, little hatchlings, and I streamed that. So you should check out the VODs. It's on the YouTube page. Yeah. Incredibly cool animals. It's funny because I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. We have living dinosaurs today. You know, birds. We have over 9,000 species of living dinosaur. Birds are super abundant, super speciose, super diverse. Backs. Which is so cool. And they're help. So is that Nana, how are you doing? That's my grandmother in the chat, everybody. Love you, Nana. Hope you're doing well. Your birthday's coming up. I haven't forgotten. It's good to see you, Nana. I hope things are good. And Lordy's in the chat too. Hello, Lordy. I hope Lordy's going on a little overnight trip today, taking the train. So I hope that's going well, Lordy. Hope you're enjoying it. You and I. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. And Bagheera, Africa than any other continent? Being a mammal guy. I saw Nick's head turn. He heard me. It's mammal time, Fisher. Fisher's a mammal. He's named after a mammal, and Fisher likes mammal. Oh. I got a question in the chat, Fisher, that I think you are well equipped to handle.
All right.
Question is, why are not sure there are.
There are a megafauna in Africa.
Yeah.
Certainly than many other continents, and so one of the primary hypotheses about that is because people evolved in Africa.
Right.
And so
That's Jim. Jim agrees. Yeah.
you see
I find this convincing too.
you see a very consistent trend across multiple continents in the Pleistocene. As soon as Homo sapiens appear on a landscape, you start to see megafauna go extinct. So
So when we're talking megafauna, we're talking mammal critters that are larger than what, like a person?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a strict definition for megafauna, but
I've heard a lot of different definitions.
Big animals, something bigger than like a sheep.
Sure.
Or a pig or whatever.
Yeah.
It's over a specific number of
I've heard
kilograms or
over
whatever.
50 kilos. I've also heard over 100.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
people. It's kind of like people just kind of have like a definition, like an idea of what megafauna is in their
Yeah.
brain. It's usually relatively accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, people show up in Australia like 60,000 years ago, and within 20,000 years or so, the megafauna is gone.
Yeah.
There's debate as to when people show up in North America, but within a few thousand years, tens of thousands of years, mammoths are gone, smilodons gone, sloths are gone, camels are gone, horses are gone.
Yeah.
But you don't see that in Africa. You don't see that in some parts of Asia.
Mhm.
Other parts, yeah, I mean, we lose giraffes from Asia, we lose hippos from Asia at the end of the Pleistocene. But the idea is that because Homo sapiens evolved in Africa, the animals that lived there had time to get used to their presence, to understand that that's a scary predator.
Yeah, we're-
and that you should flee from it.
Right. We're
so
dangerous.
You can think about it kind of as like island tameness.
Mhm.
A lot of issues with insular species is that they don't have anti-predator responses because they're no longer needed in a predator-free environment.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the main reasons why invasive species are so damaging to ecosystems.
Yep.
Is because the native species do not have countermeasures to deal with that new threat to them. And
Right.
so they just completely fold. And that's kind of the hypothesis as to what happened in North America, Australia, parts of Europe, parts of Asia as well.
That makes a lot of
South
sense to me. Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why Africa
Thanks,
has
Fisher,
the
yeah.
most number of megafauna.
And we got another question. How do you explain the distribution of megafauna in the oceans? And I mean, it's like, well, we're not really a very aquatic species, human beings, so it doesn't have too much to do with us, except you do get megafaunal extinctions, things like stellar sea cow, Hydrodamulus.
That's correct.
Yeah, they go extinct in what, like the 1700s?
1770s, I think. It was within 100 years of them being discovered by Europeans.
Right, yeah. So, I don't know. And several species of whale almost went extinct during the, the era of extensive whaling, intensive whaling, I should say. And there are some species of whale that might go extinct in the next decade. Like if oil and gas drilling happens in the Gulf of Mexico, we could get the Rice's whale going extinct within a decade or so. So yeah, I don't know. Is capable of tremendous cruelty, risk, greed, carelessness, thoughtlessness. We have wiped out a lot of species, and a lot of species do seem to be on the brink of extinction directly because of things that we as human beings do. But at the same time, we as human beings are also capable of tremendous thoughtfulness, kindness, gentleness, and creativity, and teamwork. We can turn things around. There's a lot of species that we can save if we just put our minds to it and work on saving them. It's one of the reasons I'm so excited about leatherback turtles. Is here's a species that is unique on our planet, a lineage that goes back to the Cretaceous, back to the time of the dinosaurs. Leatherback turtles are at severe risk of extinction. Their populations have plummeted by something like 9% within the last few decades alone. But they've survived asteroid impacts and ice ages and sea level rises and falls and all kinds of crazy stuff. We got to make sure that they survive a human-dominated planet long enough that they can recoup their numbers and then survive the next 80 million years, So yeah. We could do it. We can save these critters. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. Keltawoo, I think is that right? Is it 27 years? But it's a tragically short amount of time in between the discovery of the stellar sea cow by Europeans and then Europeans just hunting them to extinction. Just killing all of them. Just tragedy. But anyway, yeah. And Princeton Nerdist says we just need more people doing good things compared to bad ones. It's not just people, though. It's also systems. So that's the funny thing about we as human beings is that, we like to think of ourselves as being, the kings and queens of free will. Like, oh, I have these preferences and I can do this or I can do that. And, I have sovereignty over all my decisions. And that's not the way things work in reality. Like, we as human beings create these societies, these institutions, these systems to govern ourselves, and sometimes those are just completely rotten. And you can have a bunch of good people doing good things, but if the systems aren't working toward good things happening, it's just not going to work, So a lot of systems that we have are in desperate need of an overhaul for human well-being and for the well-being of the other critters on our planet and the Earth itself. Yeah. At the end of the day, like individual choices, like, oh, I'm going to recycle this water bottle. Those are good things and they can make us feel good, but they're not going to make the real difference that we need. We need an overhaul of these systems. Like, maybe we don't need plastic bottles anymore. Maybe we don't need to grow plow under just tons and tons and tons of habitat in order to grow soybeans that, you know, we then just turn into food for other animals that become our food. Like, maybe don't feed our food so much food. It's extremely inefficient. Stuff like that, you know? When I'm talking about systems, I'm talking about these large-scale things that we just kind of fall into, and we continue doing them because they make money for certain people, and I guess they're easy, and it's just going to ask questions. Let's fall in line. I'm getting a little philosophical here, thinking about these things. Yeah. But that is one of the beautiful things about fieldwork, is you get to sit and think about stuff like that. You know, it's like a pause in your humdrum existence. You get to go out and live in the desert with like-minded people, scientists and students and volunteers, and you're living very, you know, and it makes you kind of question, like, why do we do certain things this way, you know? Why do I have to go sit in a cubicle for 8 hours a day and pay a mortgage, you know, and work toward to retirement in which, you know, I'm going to be too old and tired to really enjoy all this stuff like this, you know? Fieldwork gives you perspective there when you can do things differently for a while. Anyhow. Yeah. And Bruno Melanson makes a digging world fossils is humbling too. It absolutely is. Yeah. I mean, we're here excavating these critters. These animals were alive 142 million years ago. These human beings have only been around for what, like 200,000 years? 200,000 years? So like 1/5 of 1 million years? So these animals lived like 500 times longer ago in time than our, you know, first anatomically modern human ancestors. That's pretty extraordinary, you know. Kind of puts things into perspective. Yeah. And Nana wanted you to know I am here, enjoying your dig, sending hugs. Love you, Nana. I send you hugs back. I need to come up and visit you before too long. I'm going to be going back out to Utah at the end of August, and I want to stop by and see you for a while, Nana. You know how busy things get, but I want you to know I've been doing great out here. I love this. I live for this. And it's been really lovely. And I've got exciting things coming up later this year, too, that I'm eager to tell you about. So thanks for saying hi, Nana. I know it's not easy to type or read the chat, especially like on a little dinky phone. But love you, Nana. I appreciate you saying hi. Yeah. Knitting CDD says, thank you, Nana, for helping make Danny. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Nana, you know, obviously. Oh, in a very, very real and literal sense. Yeah. Anywho. And there you go, Prince Mennonite. Yeah. Mennonite farmers. I mean, but are they really making a profit? Are they really, you know, yielding significant gains for shareholders? That's really what truly makes people happy, right? That's what we should all be striving for. It's definitely to keep people contented and fulfilled in their lives. Let's change the subject. All right. Continue on. I'm going to drink some more. I don't know. If I can humbly offer some unsolicited advice to anybody watching, like, find something in your life that you truly love, that you care about, that you find meaningful, and pursue that, you know? We all need to buy into these systems, you know, these big machines, you know, the economy, everything else. We all need to be part of that to some extent or another. There's kind of no escaping that, but don't let that become your entire existence. find something that's true and beautiful and meaningful to you and hold on to it and cherish it and grow it and share it with other people. I think that's where true fulfillment and happiness come from. Not through the acquisition of wealth or status or anything like that. Those are false gods. Ignore those. Laugh at them. Find something true and beautiful and meaningful. And love it, grow it, cherish it, share it. Speaking of beautiful things, I got some ice water in here. Oh, you can hear the ice clanking around inside. Nice. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful. It's 102 in the shade right now. 15% humidity today. There we go. For this part of the world. Nice. Ice in the desert. It's like a miracle. We have a propane-powered little fridge/freezer in the trailer, and it's finally gotten cold enough where it's regularly producing ice. I've got these silicone butter molds that I picked up. It's for, making butter at home, but I found by putting water in those and then putting them into the freezer, they make these long rectangular ice cubes that are perfect for an insulated metal water bottle. And if you keep it in the shade all day or in a plastic container like this, they will stay cold, and the ice will slowly melt over the course of the day and just make that water nice and cold. Sometimes it's those simple pleasures that just make your day, Yeah. Anywho. And Emilia Violette says, what's the best way to get into science communication for someone with a biology degree, possibly in the paleontology field? That's an excellent question. And I'm not going to pretend that I know the answer there. My own journey into science communication, it was a winding road, a crooked path. It's not perfect. I don't know if I could offer too much advice to anybody, because streaming here on Twitch, this is my full-time job. This is what allows me to do stuff like field work on the regular without having to worry about paying the bills. I found that streaming on Twitch worked really well for me because it played to my strengths, plays to my strengths, still does. And what is that helped me succeed here? Grab my sunglasses. And then any significant weaknesses that I have aren't really super relevant. So when I first started trying to do online science research with through YouTube, making recorded and edited YouTube videos, and that was extremely for me. And the editing process, just a perfectionist to the extent that it's just crippling with video editing sometimes. So I was just not getting many videos out, and the YouTube algorithm wasn't picking them up. When I heard about Twitch and started streaming on here, there's no editing. It's all live. And the genuine passion that I have for this on the camera, I guess. And I really enjoy talking with people. So having a conversation via the chat window, you ask a question and I do my best to answer it. That just works really well with me personality-wise. I really enjoy this kind of thing. I find it energizing and fulfilling. That social aspect is something that I kind of thrive on. So I guess if I could give you a piece of advice, it's try a few different means of science communication and see what you enjoy and what you're good at. And if you find that you enjoy a particular thing and you're good at it, run with it. Take it as far as you can. And, 9 times out of 10, it won't necessarily succeed, blow up, turn into something huge, but you will gain experience and knowledge and wisdom from something like that. You'll learn from your mistakes. You'll get better and better. And then maybe something will pop up that you're just really good at. There are degrees that you can get in science communication nowadays. There are classes you can take. There are programs you can enroll in. But I seriously kind of wonder whether this sort of thing can really be taught in a class. In many ways, I think we're still in the early days of online science communication. So we're still kind of figuring this stuff out. Having a class about it seems like it's kind of jumping the gun, especially since people who teach these classes don't actually know how to do it. Like, they I don't know. I don't want to be disparaging toward anybody. That's not what I'm trying to do, and that's not how I feel. I guess my best piece of advice is, just start doing some science communication. Find out what you like and what you don't, what you're good at and what you're not. Just get better and, challenge yourself. And see where it goes. Hello, Kate Snowart. Good to see you. Hello. Yeah. And hang on, shoot. Did we lose the satellite dish or something? Oh, goodness. No, I think it's just the, satellite connection is not great. I don't think it's the cables. I think it's literally just I've just been talking and people don't know what I'm saying. That's frustrating. All right. Statistics. Ping success 100%. 135 outage events. 329, 325. Now maybe it is the cables. Shoot. Let me go into the shade and maybe things will improve. Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest, I do find it discouraging and distracting when the only things people are typing into the chat are, oh, the screen turned a different color for a millisecond. It's like, I'm literally out in the middle of the Utah desert, miles from nowhere, streaming to you via satellite. Like, the signal's got to go up to space and back. Like, of course we're going to get some instability here and there. It's just, try to be a little understanding, Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we heard you. Okay, thank you, Casey. Yeah. Doing the best I can out here. And, it's just me operating all this stuff. So, yeah. Turn this around before the wind blows it away. A little bit more water, and we'll go into the quarry, and I'll show you how we map and document some of these things. We'll do that with... There we go. Get some water. Let's put this empty one back. We'll take this one out for you. There we are. All right, well, let's do some actual quarry stuff for a while. Where I was working this morning. We got that scapula out yesterday, and Don actually took that with him back to Salt Lake, along with a bunch of other specimens, which is excellent. We know those are safe with him. They're probably back in the lab in Salt Lake already. Sure. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about those, but Here's a little bone that I took out this morning in what we call a gypsona jacket. This is made with a gypsona brand medical bandage. So it's fully enclosed in there. I'm going to label this thing and show you how we log these specimens. So let's go get the clipboards and we'll do that live on stream. Oh, and we do have a question for Jim real quick. Thank you for the reminder there, Claire. Jim, about how many fossils is at NHMU? Like, in that collections, is that huge for North America? Is it a small collections? Is it middle of the road?
It's a small collection.
Small collection, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nothing.
So, way less than 1 million specimens. At Berkeley,
Yeah,
I think we have like 4 million or something?
They say 1 million something, it's also archaeology, biology.
Yeah,
you know,
for
so it's-
UCMP, it's mostly 4Ms, I think. That's like...
Yeah, because they have
several
almost
million.
no invertebrates. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's a very limited collection.
Interesting.
40 years ago, they tried to get rid of their collection.
That's nuts. Shoot.
Well, they hired the head moon rock guy from NASA, and his whole thing was it's not worth studying any of this stuff in Utah.
Shoot.
That
I
was-
guess you would say that if you have moon rocks in your head.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you said,
I
right?
mean, just bad hire.
Yeah, yeah.
And you run into people that scientists that like what I do is important. Everything else.
Yeah. So, how many specimens do you think you and your crews have contributed to NHMU? We're talking tens of thousands?
I don't know if close to 10,000.
Close to 10,000. Nice.
But I wouldn't go tens of thousands.
Yeah. In fact, actually, I bet you somebody in the chat can look it up. If you just search Natural History Museum of Utah collections, often on their collection search page, they'll have a little thing where it's like, oh yeah, we have over 100,000 specimens
Yeah,
or something like that.
I know of total numbers definitely don't know about over. But I know but that's archaeology.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And if you look at a big collection, the ROM or American Museum or Chicago, the big collections are huge.
Right.
I mean, the Paleo Research Institute there, upstate New York, gigantic numbers. For their stuff.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Academy of Sciences. Some of them haven't done much recently.
Right.
They have their heyday.
Yeah. Where they collected the bulk of their specimens, but they don't really do much collecting nowadays. That's always kind of sad. Like,
That is.
you kind of feel like a collection. It's become a historical thing. It's kind of died.
Yeah.
If they're no longer doing field work,
Now,
like
Smithsonian
the life has gone out of the program.
doesn't do much field work.
Yeah.
And it hasn't for decades.
Right.
It's really sad, but it's partly in the way they're funded and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's really difficult for them to get out of the Beltway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks, Jim. Okay. I guess long story short, you can look up online if you want to know how many specimens they've got. There should be some indication on it.
It's not a giant. L.A. County's got many, many times more.
Oh yeah. So does Berkeley. Yeah.
So does the University of Mexico. And
Yeah.
A lot of museums in the world are much bigger.
Yeah.
Than you, but they didn't do much to fill research.
Sure. Yeah. And we're lucky they've got space for our fossils. So.
My groomsmen at my wedding, Jeff Eaton basically made the first paleo localities there.
Really?
Yeah. So Cleveland Lloyd's locality number 1. Long Walk is locality number 2. I mean, that's basically what we're looking at. That's where paleo started.
Yeah.
And that was during the late 90s.
Gotcha.
Before they hired Scott Sampson.
Late 90s.
And,
Shoot.
They got rid of their collections. They just said, we're not doing this. It's not something that we think is worthy of the time of.
Yep.
But Jeff Eaton, I know because we've talked about this. Cleveland Lloyd, Jurassic National Monument, locality number 1. And they gave all that stuff away. They had to regather it. They gave it all to BYU. And,
Oh, really?
They
Okay.
gave it all away.
Wild.
Except for what was on exhibit.
Right.
Danny.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I log a specimen real quick?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Actually, can we tune in and watch this happen? That's okay. We can let you. I'm gonna do it anyway afterward. So
Where's the clipboards at?
they're over here. Yeah, let's see. Log and maps. Moon rocks. Got a whole moon made of those.
Thank you, Danny.
You're welcome. Yeah. So we'll let Nick concentrate on
If
this.
you're a scientist and you're any good whatsoever, you don't work in Utah. Total statement of their, chair of their geology department.
Who said this?
Chairman of geology department from NASA. When he
Really?
hired this guy, yeah, he shut him down for everything.
Oh, because as everyone knows, there's no rocks in Utah.
Utah, no.
You know?
And-
Yeah.
If you're any kind of good scientist, you work internationally.
But
only internationally, nothing else is valid.
I do not understand that. Yeah. So if you're a scientist, you can never work in your home country?
Yeah, basically, because if you're good, you work internationally.
Huh.
There's like one over there.
I mean,
Yeah, I know, it's an elitist
yeah.
thing. I mean, we have the best record, as we know.
Yeah.
You won't hear me not say it.
Yeah.
There is on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, thank you for saving it for me.
Yeah. I mean, it is wild. Jim, I know it's your job to be like a cheerleader for paleontology in Utah,
Yeah.
and you do an excellent job of it. It astonishes me that some people still have no clue that this is such a wonderland for fossils and
Yeah,
geology.
no, it is staggering how good it is.
Yeah.
It is the best record of the history of life on planet Earth. And we should exploit it
Yeah.
for the good of our people. And that's not like whipping it out of the ground, selling it. That's, excavating it, learning about it, telling people about it, and
Yeah.
showing it off and interpreting it.
Right, yeah. And
You know,
celebrating it.
and that'll
like,
be the long-term
Yeah.
economic benefit
Yep.
for the state.
showing this off to the rest of the world. I think that's really, really important. And yeah, a couple years ago they had that what was a design contest for the new Utah state flag, because the old state flag was just very samey. It looks like every other state flag with a
big logo
navy blue
shield.
backdrop. Yeah,
Yeah, big
just
shield,
garbage.
yeah.
Vexillological trash. But the new one is good. But I was disappointed that like there didn't seem to be any it was some sort of fossil represented on the state flag. You know, like there's so many options.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was the cool one with delicate arch, and that I think came in second place.
Yeah.
Like it was close to being the official
And then
new
basically
design.
the mountains,
Yeah.
form in the back. It represents geology. And,
Right. And I understand that you've got a beehive now, because Utah, of course, is famous for bees. It was founded by bees or something. Is that the case? Yeah. When people think of Utah, of course, they think of bees.
Yeah.
But
It is. It's been the symbol of the state since its founding. We're workers. I mean, no, the community.
yeah.
You
all serve the queen.
operates.
Yeah.
As a hive. We're all working.
We're all
for the
drones.
The common good. Moving forward.
Yeah. I guess there's something admirable about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
there is
but the
something
rocks and the geology, the fossils.
There's a difference between.
Yeah,
drones.
those are cool. Yeah, that's Colindodromius. There's that. That's in Russia. I didn't know the Drumheller one had a dinosaur on it. Oh, that's super cool. Neat.
Drumheller. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the city flag.
In Alberta, I think it says.
Yeah, Alberta maybe. Yeah, I mean that would be the Alberta flag. of
This
all.
doesn't have the Iguanodon one. There's a coat of arms for, I think it's Maidfield in England.
Yeah, the Guanodons, yeah.
And is it in Suffolk? In Kent? No, Maidstone. That's what it is. If you look up Maidstone coat of arms, you'll see the Iguanodon on there. Yeah. It's really cool. I'm surprised they don't have that in that image.
And Canada,
Yeah.
is putting out national coins regularly. I mean, they're now on like set 3.
Who is?
Series of Canadian dinosaur fossil coins.
Yeah.
Our friend Julius designs them. And they're now on that 3rd set, I think.
Nice.
I
don't think those are legal tender. They're like commemorative coins, right?
They're worth money. They're but
I think they're from the mint, but they're not in circulation or something like that. Like that's you'll know when we've really made
solid
it.
silver. Yeah, they sell them for more than the weight of the metal.
Yeah.
But They do have a denomination.
The Maidstone one?
Yeah, sorry.
No, cool. Yeah. I've seen, actually, that one's kind of goofy looking, but there's other ones. I really like this one.
Fossils.
That's really neat.
Quarter series.
Iguanodon is one of the supporters. Look at that.
Oh, cool, yeah.
The old-fashioned iguanodon.
No, I think they've got legal tender that does.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I think
Yeah.
they colorize the
They are dinosaurs on the new Euros.
Oh, yeah. Birds. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, birds. As remember, Utah has 3 state symbols that are dinosaurs.
Yeah. Your state dinosaur, Utahraptor. State fossil, which is Allosaurus. And state bird, the California gull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save folks from the Mormon cricket hordes.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I've got a question from friend of the channel, Casey Snowart. Casey says, does Jim ever go to the Salt Lake City Comic Con? I'd love to give him some dinosaur stickers if he ever goes.
Well, I have. I generally can't afford it.
Yeah, they should. How do they not make you like a speaker there and like roll out the red carpet
I had
for you?
a booth once for the Utah Raptor thing.
Yeah.
And and we did a good business. I mean, a lot of people coming to that also like dinosaurs, and we got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
But if we get a booth, they want us to pay for it.
Yeah.
Display. We weren't selling anything. We were hoping for donations.
But like, isn't that such a draw? Like, you would
Will
think
Wheaton came by.
people who read comics love dinosaurs, right? I would think so. I mean, gotta make you a speaker. I don't understand that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City Comic Con watching. Get on this. Invite Jim.
Yeah,
Compass
Star
ticket.
Trek novel. Like.
There's so many different. So just give us a quick laundry list.
Computer. Devil's Canyon. Dynamation.
It's in the video game.
Yeah. On our panel.
Camera's working.
People from Comic-Con, saying, "Oh, I like dinosaurs."
What's going on here?
I had a moderator didn't know anything.
Yeah.
You're good, Danny.
Oh, it's on now? Okay. Thanks, Jameson.
Yeah, that Comic-Con, our panel was from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did it that one year.
But yeah. It is, it never stops. You're like, where's my ice pick? And it's just under your knee.
In your knee.
Yeah.
In your
Just
hand.
in the synovial fluid, just. Yeah. Like, where'd my ice pick go? Why does this hurt so bad? Alright. Fish, you working on that? Alright. Let me know when you're done and I'll do mine.
Get over here.
Get over here. Thank you. Excellent. All right, let me give you a little rundown on collecting data at this site. So, I've got this specimen here, which we think is, I thought it looked like a rib head, but Ethan was saying little baby femur, which is much more exciting.
Possibly.
Yeah, so that's contained within here and there. This morning, we're going to go ahead and log this thing.
Just keep going down. You go down, you start hitting the chart.
So,
And you're at the bottom.
what I got to do here is find where I logged this earlier. 720, that's the wrong number. So let's erase that. But I'd mapped this out earlier. It's near the scapula. So, not 720. I'm trying to erase this very clumsily with my left hand.
We go. Up in 9 Mile Canyon.
Let's see. Up to 728.
Not a lot. And we have a legacy up by Jeremy Ranch, up by Don's place. Actually,
728. Excellent.
And we know there's bone.
Let me show you how that works.
California didn't. No, they built those homes. We are not missing anything. Anything. pretty much. I mean, we have little gaps, but like 5 million years, 10 million years there.
I'm trying to get this.
Perfectly.
Ah, sorry, chat. This is all wobbly.
Levels, even in the Mississippi. There's an incredible thing. We have amazing Devonian fishes. Bone beds,
There we go.
Osteolipids, little thin fishes.
728.
Dozens of species of cephalopods.
Today is 7:30.
Volumes of this.
So
No one. I don't know if there's a fossil one of these in Utah. Chicago Field Museum is loaded.
baby iguano
I've been trying to
femur?
find people
Question
up
mark?
there.
And that's way too
I know
messy.
people got up there from northern Arizona. The slabs. Oh,
Let's
there's
have some
so
pride in
many
our work. Let's write that out
slabs.
more legibly.
Gee, what a nice one.
Baby.
From the museum. That's kind of cool.
Iguano.
The Triassic fish, but I mean, stuff. Just people doing it. Comes from out of state, and they're doing it.
So that's going to be about
Collecting fish. The trilobite, the soft body stuff doesn't get the same publicity.
8 centimeters long. Sketching it out right there. And this will correspond to the map. In fact, let's get the map out because we've got to put coordinates on there.
Cambrian of Utah. We've got 4 Cambrian soft body communities.
There we go.
4. The basal one's up.
So it's right here. 52 east, 36 north. So that's going to be 36 point,
We got a whole book we published.
0.6 north.
Yeah, I came out a few years ago. It's like under $20, full color and all the pages.
Come on, let me get something.
It's a nice book. Covers everything.
36.06
All the different jellyfish.
north.
I mean, it's amazing what we got out there. But yeah, it's almost random.
And then what is our easting? So 52.12345. 52.02. 52.02 north.
But Delta, Utah, used to a Cambrian museum. Use photographs,
Priority
microscope,
M for medium.
some eggs, all those cool
And then level is
that, and then the little one next to it. This
high, so it's pretty high up in the bone bed. And collector is
they can do it, but
Anduza. That's me. There we go. So we've got this on the specimen log. So what I got to do is label the jacket. So here's the top, here's the bottom. Let's put a number on this so we know what it is. And maybe do a little bit of art on it just for fun. Yeah. Andrew Memrick says so much paperwork. I mean, this is a scientific operation here. We're collecting data, That's how this works.
Yeah, you don't want to lose it.
Exactly.
Keep it on multiple places. You lose one thing, you still got the other to back it up.
So when you take these back to the lab, you scan all these sheets in, right?
Immediately put on our copier, turn them into PDFs.
There you go. Yeah.
Into permanent digital archives.
Smart. Yeah.
So we keep the paper copies, of course.
Yes.
We have digital archives, and we incorporate those digital archives in creating, because of the wonders of digital science,
Right.
to make our reports to the BLM. Why our reports are always the first ones they get.
Yep. There you go. So since we're working under permit with the Bureau of Land Management, we need to report all of this stuff to them and let them know what we've been collecting and all of it. It's going to be the satellite. I don't think it's anything. Yeah, it's Starlink has been having trouble.
History.
Never get me right.
Yeah, sorry, that's the. I think I. Yeah.
A healthy level of paranoia.
It wouldn't work at all if you were in charge of it. Anyway. Yeah, again, it's just the satellites. To the satellite dish. So it's not that. It's not that anything is overheated. The battery's still working. Everything's good. It's just the satellites are the weak link right now.
They're cheap satellites.
So yeah. Yeah, I mean,
probably the orbits of them. Like there's just like a break.
yeah, it happens sometimes. It's just a little bit of a gap.
How many are up there?
Too many.
Too many.
And I say that as somebody who benefits
And
directly from
percentage
this. Yeah, that's a good question.
reasonable short half-life.
Yeah. Up here. All right, number 728. We're gonna put that on. Up.
It's like orange with black stripes.
Oh, shoot.
It's just beyond the
Yeah? We gotta go try and find this lizard, chat.
Skink by Camp, Danny, Red Spot.
I might have heard.
Yeah, a skink?
Not a leopard lizard.
All right. Let's go find this alleged skink. All right, real quiet. Very, very quiet. Go hunting wizards. There we go. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm not going to be able to get a picture. It's already deep in the ephedra there. But yeah, blue tail, really small little guy. Here, maybe we can. Oh, there he is. All right, hang on. I need a picture of you for our naturalist. Come on, phone. There you are. Oh, you are gorgeous.
Got him?
Hold that pose, hold that pose. Work it. Show me that tail. There we go. Back in. Energetic little guy. All right, shoot. Let's take a photo for iNaturalist. There we go. Oh, excellent. Yep, that'll do it.
Where was this going on? It was when I flipped the thing over. This like a couple hours ago. Okay, cool. Right on.
Beautiful. Okay.
You can also
Uploading that photo to iNaturalist here. Location. There we are. Obscured. And what did we see? It's either a Western whiptail or a New Mexico whiptail, probably. With that blue tail, it's really distinctive. I'm not seeing any of these guys with a blue tail. I'm gonna say New Mexico whiptail. Heck yes. Thank you guys for pointing that out. New lizard!
It's not the ID that I was.
There's lots of them in this.
Should I acknowledge you in the log, Fisher?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Nice. So I'm now up to, should be 680 species. Not too shabby. Yeah, superb.
Little bunch of dust on it.
And Claire says Coronado skink? I don't think so. And Dan the BC, if you really want to see, oh no, so this is definitely different, Claire. It's not this. It's got kind of stripes instead of solid, or spots instead of solid stripes. The observation with you. There should be a URL for it, right? There we go. There's the URL. There we go. You can actually take a look at it there, chat. No more speculating. You can see my photo, and then, yeah. So pretty different. Awesome. Yeah. Isn't it gorgeous, Claire? What a neat critter. We just have these animals all around us here, you know? How lucky are we? Just sharing space with them. We get to be guests in their home for 3 weeks while we're doing field work. It's pretty special, you know? Yeah. Of course, in the water, HD. Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah. I don't think.
It's a western whiptail.
You think so?
Yeah, I've got lizards in Utah. There's 4 kinds of whiptails.
It looked much more like the New Mexico whiptail to me.
Well, we don't have them in Utah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I got the lizards of
Huh.
Utah.
iNaturalist says we do have them, but
Yeah. Well, he said you got the great.
That's a cool thing. My
Turning on
they never used
strike.
to put the
because I don't.
Latin just on.
Does the tail on yours?
Now
Yeah,
you
that's
get it all
toward the tip. Yeah.
This one was bright blue toward the tip. Yeah.
It's spotted. The lines are in spots.
This is
striped.
Oh, I saw a spotted one up by the Groover.
I had all the intention to do it in the world, but never actually sat
Utah
down.
banded gecko.
Unless I did it in the last 5 minutes. Then
The geckos.
I've been warned that like
We'll figure it out.
doing like,
Leopard lizards. Ooh, that tail leopard lizard.
sometimes you can just get zoned.
Oh no. Major blue tail.
And Knitting CDD says, look at California blue-tail skink. I've seen those before back home. Very different from what we have here, but they are really cool. Yeah. And Mayor Space, most of the lizards around me are invasive. Yeah. Northern curly-tailed lizards have started to show up in parts of Florida, and I logged one to iNaturalist when I was there back in May. I think they're from Western Africa? They're cool critters, but they are kind of bad news for some of the local lizards. Yeah. And Dan the BC Man says, that's cool, I wish I was there in person to spot. Well, again, you can look at it, the observation literally right here. So folks, if you want to, if you have iNaturalist, you can compare. I think it's probably a New Mexico whiptail lizard, but it could be the Western whiptail. Could be either. But look at that log, look at my photo, and tell me what you think it is. Yeah. And DNH says, I'm interested pretty much the same way that it did last year. So if you want to look at that VOD from last year, you can check that out. We may or may not do a stream from camp at some point this season, but I almost feel like it would be a little repetitive, given that we did that last year. People were upset too, because I was streaming later in the day, It was late at night for people in Europe. It broke some people's watch streaks and stuff. You know, having an unscheduled stream like that, which we would probably have to do to have one from camp, people get upset. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and there's a fly right here on my phone, which is frustrating because I want to take a picture with my phone, but it's on my phone. I'll take a screenshot of this later, fly, and I'll log you to iNaturalist because I don't know what you are. I'm not an expert in flies. That's a group that is largely opaque to me. Another one on my arm, different species. Yeah. Ah, good stuff. But yeah. And Dr. Busby says apparently the New Mexico whiptails are a female-only species. Yeah, there's, I think, a few different lizard species that are like this. They're entirely parthenogenic. So the females essentially just clone themselves to have young. It's interesting stuff. Yeah. Yeah, girl power there. But yeah. Claire says, how long do we think a species can last that way? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know about that. Because you would think that'd be a chance for a big genetic bottleneck. You're not mixing genes. Everybody's just I'm not sure. Good question. And there you go, Mayor Space, yeah. Right. Let's label this guy. Set my camera up here.
Really frustrating. One good thing is no scientific names.
Oh, really?
Look at the whole.
Never undo.
Somebody was saying whiptail too. That they're all parthenogenic.
Whiptails don't get. Reptiles, amphibians, whiptails are teaids. I always thought they were skinks. That's interesting. The Mexico whiptail is non-native to Utah. Been introduced. Plateau tiger whiptail. See better.
Alright. So, just labeling this jacket real quick. GB. GP. Dolling's Bowl. Jim's Place.
The spotting on the Great Basin spotting. See, a striped whip, plateau striped whiptail Definitely bright blue tail.
What resource is that, Jim?
I don't know, it's got photos, scientific names, and it's pretty decent. I'm not sure what it is. Reptiles of Utah.
Is it a PDF or a website?
It's, once I go to the beginning of it. Reptiles, amphibians of Utah.
Oh, this is tricky trying to draw this.
I'll try to send you the link at some point.
Okay.
That doesn't look right at all. Oh? Okay, Marcelo, what do we think about this?
And this is like
That's
soft enough
probably
that even the
one of the best
paint marker
pieces
is having difficulty with this. Either that or I'm running out of ink.
That was a
Oh
really
man, I
good
think I'm
one.
running out of ink.
Dang, I was not expecting that. Getting one of those thin outside pieces on is good.
Let's try a Sharpie.
Gecko. They're cute. Eastern colored lizard.
That was perfect.
There you go.
Smaller example of this.
Good bone?
No, it just fit perfectly.
Oh, good click.
Feel the fit.
Nice.
Chasing that feel for the rest of your life. The quick feel.
Yeah, Mediterranean. It's not. He had a banded Utah gecko. Mediterranean house gecko is non-native. Yeah, Utah banded gecko is native. I'm sure of that.
Tear a hole in this. Dang it.
I saved the link.
Oh, noise, what's that? The sharpener? So yeah, we've got the tool sharpener over there that Nick is using. A little grinding wheel you can use to sharpen different tools like ice picks, balls, and things like that.
I just don't use it for a while, and then we'll do
Orange-headed spine lizard. This is a pretty decent reference.
I left the cap off.
Glad I downloaded this.
So, which one is it? Your uncle?
Yeah, I never told you.
Northern Plateau lizard. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of these guys.
Even over here?
Now, Squap Beast. A middling dinosaur of the desert.
I might in Spanish.
For work?
Like a project we have to do.
That doesn't look like it's something normal. Utah.
There we go.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Plateau side block. Utah Stanberiana uniformis is the one we have here.
It's a subspecies?
Yeah, it's subspecies.
Yeah.
That we have here. Definitely, because the one they showed of that species playing was like, that's not our side block.
Right.
But this one is. Oh, this is a pretty decent guide.
Well, it's about the best I can do right now with
Good links.
this paint marker acting up.
And
It's almost about out of ink.
And I think this piece was glued on too. I'm the best. That's right. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for that.
Once you map it, you'll put a give it a number. I think Fisher's good at it. I think Marcelo is good at it.
And hang on. Tesco horse meat says megalodons are fake, right? No. No, Megalodon is a real species of fossil shark. No, they're definitely real. Yeah. Let's talk about this for a minute because there's so much misinformation about these animals. Well, yeah, that's the thing is that like there's all these Discovery Channel documentaries and fake-umentaries and stuff. Oh, we found Megalodon. Like, no, it's a real animal. It's just they're extinct. They're not around anymore.
Yeah, I like the one with the U-boat next one.
I know, that's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much misinformation about these critters. But no, they're very much a real fossil shark. They're very much extinct.
Probably whale specialists.
Yeah. So when the small species of whale went extinct along with them, that's probably what happened.
Oh, I bet they ganged up on big whales. They're pretty big whales.
There we go. I can go put this over there with the other specimens. And we're all logged. Yeah. But, so Megalodon is tricky. We don't really know its full size or anything because mostly what we have from it are teeth and a few vertebrae. So it's difficult to estimate how big the actual animal would be while it was alive. Like, sure, the teeth are enormous, but maybe they just had really big teeth proportional to their body size. The thing is, if you scale them up using like a white shark, Carcharodon carcharias, as your guide, then yeah, they're going to come out to be 80 or 100 feet long. If you just scale them up from those teeth, but they probably have different proportions, you know? So, I did a video about this ages ago, and it basically came down to like, well, we need better fossil material. We need like an articulated string of vertebrae, along with some teeth, so that we have some sense for how big the verts are compared to the teeth, and then we can actually estimate the size of the animal. So, yeah.
Plateau tiger whiptail.
Anyway.
Oh, this is nice. You don't like this, Danny.
Yeah?
All the pictures of these things,
Yeah?
and then there's a link that goes to it.
Send it to me. Yeah, that sounds great.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Downloadable too on my phone now.
Nice. Here, I do want to check and see, is this actually a New Mexico whip? Or... is this... or is it a Western whiptail?
You went base?
I'm not seeing a blue tail for any of the Western whiptail photos. I would emphasize that if they have it.
New Mexico whiptail, similar species.
No, it's got to be a New Mexico whiptail.
They say a similar species.
Yeah.
That's different than this one, but they're similar. I'm in a basin, baby.
Yeah.
Let me look at the other one. Non-native, yep. You've got New Mexico whiptail. Someone imported them.
Let's look that critter up.
Non-native. Very striking.
New Mexico whiptail. Aspidoscelis neomexicanus. Female only species.
Counties.
Cool.
Yeah, that's where you get around Salt Lake City. Probably imported.
It's the official state reptile of New Mexico.
Does not overlap the plateau whiptail in range.
Huh.
It does not occur down here in weather range charts.
But how up to date is that, though?
Pretty up to
I
date
wonder.
from the looks of it. It's the nicest thing I've ever seen on this stuff. It's beautiful. By the University of Utah, I think.
So apparently it's a crossbreed of a Western whiptail and the little striped whiptail. Huh.
It's one of the two non-native lizards. No, not New York City, in Utah, Salt Lake City. Sent you the link as a text message.
Thanks, Jim.
But you see the picture of something you're interested in, tap it, and it'll take you to a full page of...
Yep, okay, reptilesofutah.com. Cool. If it is a New Mexico whiptail, this could be potentially one of the first sightings of it in this region. I mean, we'll see. That's the cool thing about iNaturalist.
I'm very hesitant to say that.
Well, but that's the cool thing about iNaturalist is that like other people will see this, and if they can confirm or deny that it is a New Mexico whiptail, and like I could get contacted by a researcher, be like, you know, where exactly was this?
Plateau whiptail,
Yeah.
When you zoom in, there's pictures, close-ups of their skin.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's really impressive. That's a resource. I got it on my homepage now.
Plateau striped whiptail. This looks different. It does not look like my picture. They've got solid stripes. This one doesn't.
We expanded its range all the way down here. That is a new deal.
It could be. Yeah, we'll see.
But they're not considered completely non-native to Utah.
No, there's introduced populations in Salt Lake Valley, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm going to put some other photos on there that I snapped that could potentially help. Cool. Our guy is really small though, so maybe it looks different from the plateau whiptail because it's a juvenile. It's an ontogenetic thing.
Generally has blue tail.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, sorry about that chat.
What is the organization?
We'll let's get back into this. Let me go put this over with the other specimens, and we'll walk around and do some Q&A.
Frogs, salamanders, tortoises, and turtles. All these bad bugs.
Pieces of garbage down. Here. No, wait. Where'd it go? You have it in your hand.
Copyright 2023 to 2026. We keep updating it. Now they have, this is just the lizards. They have a whole, all the reptiles and amphibians of Utah. We're just a little side thing on this. Contact us. Who are these people?
Oh boy, my thermometer's freaking out. I don't think it's 488 degrees right now.
That's bad.
That's always nice when your thermometer overheats. All right, sunglasses. I mean, if you've got any other questions or anything. We've got about half an hour left before I appear. Although when Jim is in charge of the quarry, we end up wrapping up a little late. So we'll see what happens today. But if anyone's just joining us, welcome to Paleontologizing. Sorry for that quiet little bit there. Just working on some stuff, just enjoying the shade and talking about what kind of lizard I saw there. And track that down to the species or maybe even subspecies. What comes of that iNaturalist observation. But if you're just waltzing in, welcome to Eastern Utah. Digging up dinosaurs and other fossil critters, whatever we find here in this quarry. These rocks are about 142 million years old from the very beginning of just above the contact with the Upper Jurassic Morrison Formation. So this is exciting stuff, you know? Not too shabby. Yeah. J Clips, how are you doing? Hello, hello. Doc Simpson says, "How was camp from the storm?" Thank you for asking. It was well, one of our garages, the portable garages with the metal frame and the like vinyl tarp thing over the top. One of those vinyl tarps just got wrecked, just split along the sagittal plane, right along the ridge line, just split in half. But luckily we had a spare one, so we were able to put that up today. So camp is looking nice. But yeah, a bunch of our stuff got blown around by the wind. We found some things from camp over here at the quarry. Some of Jim's stuff was over by my tent, you know, like 100 meters away. Lots of wind and lots of dust, but doing pretty okay. Got damaged or destroyed, so I things we got lucky. Yeah. Anywho, thanks for asking, Ed. I hope you're doing well. Good thing there was a Tarps R Us in the area. No, we just had a spare one with us in camp, Geek Store. It's funny, Don was saying, like, yep, that's gonna be the last season for these tarps. You know, for these this current set of portable garages. You know, they're starting to show some wear. He was right. It is definitely the last next year. And those things are not cheap. I think they're something like $700 or $800 each. They've lasted, I think, about 10 years so far. So we put those things to good use, take care of them. They last a long time. But yeah, it's definitely some money that the survey's going to have to spend for next year if we're going to come back out here, which we really want to, because there's a zillion bones to find. Anywho. But yeah, let's get some more water. Why don't we? Anyone got any questions about the Cedar Mountain Formation? The rise and reign of dinosaurs? Question. Extinction, evolution, any of that stuff. Don't hesitate. No, temperature's fine now. Good time to have some ice water. Yeah. And let's see. Can't quite see your username against the. It's highlighted green with a green username. DJ Rusty C wants to know: are you wherever, even outside the U.S.? So I've not done really any fieldwork outside of the United States yet. I'm based in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I drove a couple days to be here in Utah. This is my 5th year working with this crew in this part of Utah. But so far, this summer, I have been to Florida, and then Wyoming, and then Montana, and now Utah to do fieldwork. Florida was for sea turtle fieldwork, leatherback turtles. But all the rest of it is digging up dinosaurs and other fossil critters from the Mesozoic. I'd love to be able to go do fieldwork and live stream it from places like Patagonia in Argentina, Gobi Desert of Mongolia, maybe the south coast of England, maybe Antarctica. So many places I want to go and stream from, but so far I've been US based. But that might change in the next year. We shall see. And Call Me Ollie says, does your phone or camera feel like it's hot? Yeah, of course. It always does. That's why I like to periodically retreat to the shade when I can. And Geeks Tour says, how far out do you have to book to attend these digs? Do you have next season already booked? Does that happen over the off season? It happens over the off season, yeah. This year we had a lot of people who wanted to join us, kind of friends of friends and people that we knew. And we just didn't have space on the crew. But there were people who had been reaching out since last fall to ask about joining fieldwork, and yeah. I want to emphasize, though, we are by no means the only operation doing this kind of fieldwork in the United States or North America or the world. We're not even the only crew doing this sort of thing in Utah right now as we speak. There are lots of different field crews. If anybody watching is interested in doing some field work, I'd recommend reaching out to a crew. We might actually be booked up for next year, come to think of it. Now that I remember what Dawn said. Yeah, and we've always got people who want to come back, and we were kind of at our capacity right now, so we had to turn people away. I'm guessing it'll probably be the same thing next year. But there are lots of other field crews who could use your help. If you think that you could be useful on a crew like this, contact them, see if you can get involved. Worst they can do is say no. Yeah. And Claire, no, so Josh and his crew are going to be out there in September into October. I might be joining them at the end of September, we'll see. But Josh is like, yeah, we've got maybe one spot left. So we'll see about that. And welcome, Manchin. Good afternoon to you, too. Hello, hello. Yeah. But yeah. And randomness is what about in 10 years? I can't look forward that far. Shoot. Hopefully we still have a program here in 10 years. The thing is, Jim and Dawn are both going to be retiring in the next couple years. Dawn at the end of this year. Jim will be retiring next year, it looks like. So there's going to be some turnover, and we might not have fieldwork in Doling's Bowl after next year. Whoever is in charge after that might have other priorities, so we'll see. Again, you could have 100 crews working here every summer and still not find everything. So the question is not a lack of fossils. The question is, well, it's a lack of resources. That's kind of how it is in Utah and other parts of the U.S. and other places around the world. The problem is not a shortage of fossils. The fossils are abundant, especially if you know where to look. It's, can you get money to send out a crew? Do you have money for food and fuel? Do you have infrastructure to be able to house volunteers out there, feed them? Do you have space in your museum to be able to accommodate new fossils? These are all limiting factors. The question is never like a lack of fossils to go out and excavate. At least not in Utah. Yeah. And Geeks Tour says, have you heard any feedback from the museums on the popularity of your streams? Folks always seem to want to volunteer while watching. Are museums getting contacted by these folks? Yes, actually. So we had a big volunteer push last spring with the St. George Dinosaur Discovery Site and Museum. And there were think a few dozen volunteers who showed up because of these streams. And Andrew Milner, who runs that operation, he was thrilled by this. I'm very proud of it, you know? I directly encourage people to go out there and help with that emergency excavation. You're going to ask me, what are you talking about? Let me tell you the story real quick so everybody's on the same page. Winter of 2025, last year, like January of 2025, it was February, Andrew Milner from the St. George Dinosaur Discovery Site and Museum calls me up and he said, this beautiful dinosaur fossil site for other kinds of earliest Jurassic critter. It's across the street from the museum. Protect the fossils. It used to be private land. Landowner realized, hey, there's really important fossils here. I should try and do the right thing. Ways and everything. There's just hardly anywhere else on the planet you can find fossils important or this interesting. You have like a print of a dinosaur sitting down, so you have like its butt and its legs folded up, and then you have its hand from a Dilophosaurus-like dinosaur. All kinds of amazing stuff like that. They built a museum, $2 million to do that. But then all around, there's all kinds of other fossils too. Directly across the street, all kinds of cool fossils. Well, the city of St. decided, we need to build an... No, this really fossil site seems like the place. Let's bulldoze it and build an electric station there. And so Andrew got word from the city that they were going to do this, and he says, holy cow, if this is going to happen, we need to excavate as many fossils as we can while we have time before the site gets bulldozed and destroyed. It was a race against time. And so I got stream, and we'll do some interviews and try and raise some attention in a few different news articles. There was one from, I think, St. George News you could find online if you do some Googling. Just trying to tell people about how important this is and spread the word so that people will volunteer. So they've got more people on site excavating fossils. We can get more of these things out of the ground and save them for science. We had people donating tools, donating money, donating gift cards to local businesses, all kinds of stuff like that to just try and support this operation and save as many fossils as we could before the bulldozers were going to roll in I think, the beginning of May. So I went out there twice to St. George and met a bunch of really cool people and live streamed from there and just did my best to put a spotlight on this whole operation. And I got to meet a bunch of people from Paleontologizing community who came out to help with this, and it was really cool. And then, this happened live on stream, when May was approaching, I get a phone call from Andrew. So I picked this up live on stream, and I'm talking to him, and he says, well, the city of St. George realized that there's so much attention being put on this, and it's maybe not making the city look very good that they were going to destroy this extremely important fossil site. They decided to move the project elsewhere. So the site was saved. And I'm tremendously proud that I was able to play some small part in this, helping save that fossil site. And it was really kind of a boon for the museum because they got a lot of attention for this, and they have a lot of volunteers who started working because of this crisis, and now they've stayed on. So they've got a whole bunch of volunteers who have been there for the past year, and they've been able to do a bunch of cool stuff with all that extra labor and all the donations they've had and everything else. So I'm really proud of, the community at large that we were able to be a small part of, who banded together to help this museum and help save these fossils. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. And Raptor says, how much do you bet it was to power a data center? It was not. No. This boondoggle of nobody wants needs end up being finished. Bubbles before it's operational. Not enough GPUs to go around. Like, they literally, nobody can buy enough, enough graphic processing units to be able to power. The whole thing is a boondoggle. Don't get me started. But yeah. Yeah. The thing about St. George is that it gets extremely hot there during the summer. And so you have people using a ton of electricity for things like air conditioning. And they also use like an obscene amount of water too. I think if the town continues to grow, they will need more electricity infrastructure to power things like air conditioning. I don't think that you could run I don't think they're even looking at St. George for a data center because it would just be so expensive with the electricity, with the cooling this. St. George gets really hotter than here, There's an old joke that, does the devil live in hell? It was too hot for him in St. George, Utah. Anywho. From Geeks Tour, do you see yourself settling down at Pacific Museum or always a nomad and free agent, so to speak? I really enjoy the way that I'm able to do things right now, and I will continue to do this for as long as I enjoy it and for as long as it is tenable. I really love being able to go visit different field crews during the summer, be able to go visit different museums. If anything, I think the pace will be increasing and I'll be doing more travel and, working with different programs and all of that. I've been tremendously lucky to be able to make my living doing outreach full time. It's I get to make my own schedule, be my own boss. And yeah, now that I'm here, the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology, big global society for paleontologists who study bones, like for instance, dinosaur bones. I'm organizing a special live-streamed outreach event for SVP this year at the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meeting, which is going to be in Cleveland in mid-November. We're going to be doing a special live show for SVP members to be able to present their research to the audience. I put together a presentation to kind of pitch this idea to the society, and they really like it. I joined the communications committee for SVP last year, and things have been going pretty well with that. And now we can use this whole paleontologizing platform, this community that we've built, to help out the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology. Help raise money for the society, raise its public profile, kind of give folks at home a chance to learn about what SVP is all about and why they should support it, why they should become members. I think it'd be really a public SVP supporter kind of mini membership kind of deal. You're not paying annual dues to the society like a researcher would, but it's maybe like $20 a year or something, and you get some sort of special perk. We'd love to be able to institute something like that to help bring in some extra for SVP, because right now they are really struggling financially, honestly. Well, we want the society to be around for a long time. SVP started and continues to the present, and it is our one big professional organization for vertebrate paleontology around the world. And for as much money as things like dinosaurs discover these critters and dig them up and publish on them and make them popular in the first place, so that all the toy manufacturers and video game companies and movie studios, they can all profit off of dinosaurs. We don't see any of that money for the most part. We need to find ways of actually making that work for us so that we don't have to, you know, take on a vow of poverty to get into paleontology. The more money that we have to be able to spend dinosaurs and other fossil critters we can find, study, publish on, you know, we can our science, because we tend to have very slim budgets and it's tough to be a paleontologist a lot of times. So anywho, yeah. And Dr. Busby says, do you get to pick which scientific journal your papers are published in, or do you offer the paper up? No, so you have to submit it to individual journals. So I think big and exciting, you know, I'm going to submit it to the journal Nature, from Nature Publishing Group, the biggest one in the world for paleontology. They can say yes or no, and then, okay, they don't want it, we'll shop it over to the journal Science. Do they want it? No. Okay, well, let's go down some tiers. Maybe the Proceedings of the Royal Society B, Proc B. Do they want it? No. So you, after a while, if you get your paper rejected from a few different journals, then you tough, because you formatted for their journal, and it can take things formatted properly. It's really a huge pain in the butt, honestly. But that's how it works. So submitting it to journals can be a really time-consuming thing. But no, you submit it to each journal individually. And yeah, it is tough out here for a paleontologist, Marcy Walks Dogs, but I'll share this with you. So yeah. Anyway, things are going well. We've got about another week here in Billings Bowl before we have to pack up. I think last stream. Often Thursday we're packing things. Oh man. Do I need to like pull the battery out? It is freaking out. Water? There's dust in there, which is making it a little trickier to get out. There we go. All right, battery out. Battery back in. Ah, that seems to have fixed the problem. Excellent. Yeah. Sometimes you the Fresno Community College Paleo Quarterly. There you go, HD. There are sometimes small in-house journals like that, like Proceedings of the Kansas Geological Survey or things like that. There's an in-house journal that that Jim is submitting some things to. Yeah.
Really funny. His wife published a lot on.
Hey Jim, can we talk to you about journals for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah. Tell us about geology of the Intermountain West.
Okay.
And oh, sorry, Marcello.
Oh, you're good.
And then here, I'll go over here. Some other journals.
Now it depends on what you want.
Yeah.
We all have different targets. I mean, impact factor is a big target for a lot of people in academia. Because a lot of papers with a high impact factor, they'd be used to help get you tenure. And things of that sort.
So if you're in the rat race, then
you're chasing after nature and science and geology. Journal of Earth Paleo has a moderately high impact factor. But National Academy of Sciences has a very high.
The proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, PNAS as we call it.
And basically, if that's your drive, and some people need to go that way. The Chinese do a lot there. You publish a paper in Nature or Science, you get a $5,000 bonus. That don't happen in the U.S. But I want to get my information out. And earlier on in my career, the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology started.
JVP.
And certainly if you were involved in vertebrate paleo, that was the place you wanted to put your stuff. If you want to do a little more than you could do in Nature or Science.
Nature or Science tend to be really short papers. They don't have a lot of room, so.
And the Journal of Paleontology, which was started, almost over 100 years ago. The Journal of Paleontology was a home for much vertebrate paleo as well. It still is. I mean, people still publish major vertebrate paleontology papers in the Journal of Paleo. And of course, you got the European journals, that do this. Publish the Journal of Paleo Association and their special paper series. But in recent years, there's been regional publications. One that for this part of the world was very big was Brigham Young University's Geologic Studies series. And that was out since the 50s. And it gave them a place for students to publish their master's theses, summaries and things, as well as geologic maps. And for this part of the world, it was like, where you could put out data, put out a lot of stuff. But basically about 15 years ago, they stopped publishing. BYU's geology program is downsizing. And running a journal is a hard thing. I mean, it's not like, we just print it. That's not all you do. So the Utah Geologic Association, which had been doing an annual guidebook volume, for a different region of Utah each year for quite a while, and it published the big geology, Utah National Parks and Monuments. They're like up to volume 4, I think, on that, maybe volume 5. They keep updating it, and it's a monster tome, full color. Beautiful thing. They thought, we do need a regional publication. That same kind of thing happened with Mountain Geologist. It was taken over by the University of Wyoming. But unfortunately, they have a hard time getting the editorial support. Well, not really cranking out the papers. It still exists, but but Geology on Mountain West, the Utah Geologic Association is a very successful group, and it had a fair bit of revenue and a lot of geologists and that are retired, that are in they have said, let's take over, make it open source, and started publishing back in, I think, 2015. I think it might have been the first year, maybe 2014. And they've been publishing the kind of papers that BYU Geology Studies does, Rocky Mountain Geologist does. So they're regional papers, full color. Their length is not an issue. So you can include live data. I mean,
which is important oftentimes.
Pile garbage is not needed. A lot of times, Journal of Earth Paleo, 17 pages. That's all I got to fit, pictures and all. 17 pages. So.
And they're really helpful. I mean, a lot of the stuff is not well figured. Tyrannosaurs, one of the most popular groups. There's very few good images of a lot of the different bones in a Tyrannosaur skeleton. They're just, nobody's published on them,
And they'll have appendices where you can just put raw data, stratigraphic section descriptions,
Uh-huh.
the data, the numbers and everything for radiometric dates, you know, like data, and their appendices, you know, which you can access and whatnot, or download as at the back of your paper.
Sure.
You know, and I just really like it because they're really, as they say, you know, sorry, it's not anal retentive. They're meticulous and review generally, and in the typesetting. They don't let typos get through.
Right.
I mean, they go through like 4 levels of just setting it up for publication.
Yeah.
It amazes me. You know, and they've put out a couple I'm not happy with, but general, their stuff is really good, and it's going to be a major standard. And it's, you go to their site, and you can go to the sites. They're all free, full color. Download the PDF, browse them. You know, you can download images, you know, like archival quality images. It's
great resource.
Yeah, it's a great resource. And a lot more are doing it. PLOS, you know, PLOS 1.
Yeah.
I've published in PLOS 1.
Public Library of Science is what it stands for,
Yeah, the Paleontologica Electronica is really the first online paleo journal. And at first they really weren't naming taxa in there. You know, so, you know, but people could do innovative things. You know, have like moving imagery.
Right,
biomechanics of a walk cycle. You know, and fossil animal, incredible stuff. PLOS, you know, kind of the same thing. And PLOS 1 is, you know, they have they cover a wide spectrum of science. But you know, you're not limited page numbers. You're not going to publish garbage. But if you're documenting something, say, well, this isn't a good home, it's too big. That's not what they'll do. If it's a good paper, you can do it. And then PeerJ is another that's doing, you know, open source. And those of us that, you know, work for government agencies like I do, you know, we believe, if we're actually good public servants, that everything we do belongs to the public.
Right.
So
you owe that to the public.
Yeah, that's the way I feel. And the data is owed to the public so they can access things and play with it. You know, soon, you know, electronically they'll have appendices, and all your bone figures will be available as 3-dimensional models that you could print at home. Print them in your pasta printer.
Some authors, pasta printer. So, some authors have already started doing this, which is really cool. Just like, there's 3D figures, and you can download them and like print out the dinosaur skeleton at home if you want to.
Play with it and do biomechanics, you know, deal with it digitally in your computer. I mean, it's, you know, that is the future. You know, in my early days, I probably spent half a year at least of my life in a dark room.
Photography.
I can still think about it and smell developer. And it's been over 30 years since I've worked in a dark room. And I can still just smell developer. It's not a good smell. You get used to it. But never again.
Can you give us a teaser on any publications you're working on now that
might
be excited to see?
You know me, I'm not hesitant about anything.
I always appreciate that about you, Jim. You're not gatekeepy, you're not like, you know, squirrely about these things.
So recently I've published a big overview of Jurassic ankylosaurs in the Morrison Formation. And figured like most everything of significance. You know, both Gargoylosaurus and focusing on Mimorpelta, but you can't not compare it with Gargoylosaurus. So I re-illustrated a lot of Gargoylosaurus as well. Because it's different. This is a color, you know, thing. And you know, the good papers, they publish some good reviews of Gargoylosaurus, and they're in black and white. And there's, you know, I'm proud of this paper. It's pretty good. You know, I did a major review of the Manco Shale the same year. The whole region, you know, raising it to a group and naming some new units. You know, for the Mancos. Because I'm one of the world's experts on the Manco Shale by, you know, heritage. Recently did a paper revising all the, you know, the Morrison Formation, north end of Capitol Reef National Park. One of my favorite parks. And we discovered 6, 7, maybe even 10 square miles mapped wrong. Mapped as Morrison is actually Cedar Mountain Formation. You know, a huge area. And got that all published. Once again, full color. It's not open source. It has New Mexico. I don't even have a copy of the volume. I do have PDFs. If you want a copy, drop me an email. I'll send you a PDF of it. But I still haven't been able to get the volume. Really bugging me. But right now I'm in the middle of outside review, paper naming the ankylosaur from this locality.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's kind of an intermediate between the Jurassic, Mimorpelta, very remarkable intermediate,
right?
Really, and the mid-basal Cretaceous, or Valanginian age Gastonia. And that transition is such. I mean, there was times I was thinking of putting it in Mimorpelta.
Yeah.
And it's like people go, no way, you're going to do the same genus in the Cretaceous. And,
Sure, that would be a first.
It's
Yeah.
diagnosed, but it's pretty clear. I think it's anagenesis. I really do.
Awesome. I'm really excited for this, Jim.
Well, it's already out. Oh no, it isn't. It's almost out.
Yeah.
I sent you a copy of it.
You did?
I think I sent you a PDF of the
thanks so.
review paper.
This is the one.
It's circling around camp.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
And I'm working on describing another, animal from this, a little bit higher than this. The top of the lower yellow cat. Giant ankylosaur, like getting elephantine in size. Twice as big as the normal ones. Working with Josh Lively, the Prehistoric Museum. He wants the paper to be in Nature Science, high profile, and have all my descriptive and figures and 20 plates, all his supplemental information. And I'm not really happy about it. Because it's like a lot of people never get access to that.
Sure. It's
like,
paywalled. Yeah.
Well, it's not so much paywalled. It's just most people don't know it's available.
Sure.
And Nature, particularly. I mean, I'm not sure what journal he wants to do.
Yeah.
Nature is basically got into a thing when they started doing supplemental, where all of a sudden people realize, after like 5 years, they take it all down.
So it's just no longer available.
That's not really
lousy.
A publication,
Right?
Nature. I think Nature's fixed that. It's like, oops, the entire scientific community got a little hot under the collar. And then I'm working, and all the description and figures for that is done. And it's a giant elephantine one.
Yeah.
And then I'm finishing a manuscript naming a new elephant-sized polycanthid ankylosaur from the poison strip, the sandstone level you see wrapping around this valley here. And it's from up at that level.
Yeah.
It's a huge animal. I mean, a centro this big around. Caudals are that big, caudal ribs are that big across.
Yeah.
Big animal, there's no doubt about it. And it's got massively constructed armor. And it was excavated, first dinosaur that I know of excavated in the Cedar Mountain Formation.
Right.
And, dinosaur Jim Jensen, BYU, Ultrasaurus, Supersaurus, famed Torvosaurus, a lot of important things. It came out of Utah early on in Colorado, were named by Jim Jensen. And he never had a dinosaur name for him.
Yeah.
And this is an animal he dug up in 1965. It was a grad student did a short paper on it in '69. First dinosaur mentioned, where it said Cedar Mountain Formation and a dinosaur name.
That's funny. Shoot.
'69.
Yeah.
The guy was remarkably close because he related it to what I agree is the closest thing around. And that's Hoplitosaurus marshii from the Black Hills. And there's barely anything known in '69. I'll guarantee you. So that he came so close to what I, think the same way. Except
vindication for him. That's great.
Hoplitosaurus marshii is a lot smaller than Hoplitosaurus jenseni.
Right.
It's a brute. I mean, it's got the most massive armor, thickness-wise, just armor on the back, solid bone with, of course, horn on it. I just have to look at the bone. Thicker proportionally than any other ankylosaur.
Shoot. Yeah.
Any other armored dinosaur. It's nuts how massive that armor is.
Yeah.
And then it's got all these cool parasites and things, which are like sweet.
Yeah. Ed Simpson in the chat says, Jim, I've got a Morrison volume in the mail to you. I have an extra copy.
Because I talked to the woman. She said, I have another copy.
Yeah.
At their sale. and I'll get right back to you. And she never did. I said, get my credit card information.
Yeah.
It's like, I've been trying to get this for 6 months. It's like, what is the deal, guys?
That's some
You
good
wanna
news that we got that then.
journal?
Yeah. Thank you,
I
Ed.
also wanted to buy another one they had
Yeah.
on the ammonites of the San Juan Basin. Like, yeah, I'd like to see that volume too.
I also want to say thank you to Tabanji for the raid. Really appreciate that. Welcome to Paleontologizing. I'm here chatting with Utah State paleontologist Jim Kirkland, discoverer of such dinosaurs as Gastonia and Utahraptor and many others.
Yeah, Nectoverdia, Diabloceratops, Suski tyrannus.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that found the best specimen would not have got credit for it. Because I was like, he found that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of revisionist history going on for a while. Like, no, I was there.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks, Jim. Let me go walk around and answer some of these questions for a minute. Get some more water, too. But
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, though. More to come.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Let me scoot through here. Trying to stay important. There we go. There we are. Thank you. Lily for those gift subs as well. Really appreciate that. Sorry, did want to interrupt Jim as he was answering those questions. But thank you, Lilith Hobo. Thank you, Tabanji. How was your stream? I hope it was really good. Welcome back to a live dinosaur in eastern Utah with the Utah Geological Survey. It is just dropped in. I'm going to cool off some cold water. Ice left in there, which is so nice. Some of the ammonites too. Thank you, Ed. I'll tell him. He'll be thrilled. That is superb. Yeah. All right. It's after 5. Wonder if anybody realizes that. Normally we wrap up at 5. When Don is here in the quarry, he likes to work 9 to 5. With him, it's a bit more loosey-goosey. Maybe we get into the quarry a little bit later. Definitely work later often. So I've got some time. I can answer some more questions. And just kind of hang out. 3G in the house says, love the stream. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. What comes to mind as the highlight of your career to date? Oh boy. I'll probably have to make a distinction between my streaming career and my paleontological career. For my streaming career, some of my are helping raise a bunch of money for fieldwork, especially in Wyoming. Ethan Cowgill, who is here in the quarry with us, he has started this remarkable field program in South Wyoming. I've been working with Ethan there since 2020, and we in this community have raised about, all told with direct donations and with purchases and other support, probably around $40,000 for fieldwork we've been able to raise through this community, which is remarkable. I'm very, very proud of that. That's a career highlight for me. That and I guess becoming a Twitch ambassador. They made me an official part of that program last August. There are fewer than, I think, 200 Twitch ambassadors in the whole world. I'm one of them. Really proud of that. Proud of all the outreach that we've been able to do and helping out different field programs and different prep labs and just trying to be a force for good in the world of paleontology, trying to, help support further progress in the field of fossil science. I'm very proud of that, streaming-wise. In terms of my research career, science career, I'm on a cruise digging up at least a dozen new species of dinosaur at this point, probably closer to 2 dozen. Only a couple which have been published so far, but I'm really proud of that. I'm one of the authors on the Triarchunkus descriptive paper, which is an alvarezsaur theropod from the Hell Creek Formation in Montana, last of the alvarezsaurs, Triarchunkus. whose name means Captain Hook because of these super stubby arms with these big hook-like claws on them. Really weird, cool critter. Orange dinosaur that's currently being worked on. Hopefully will be published in the next few. The site name is called DINOSaurops. That's what Denver Fowler. I found it in 2012. That will not be the name of the animal, but that's the name of the site, DINOSaurops. And there's a bunch of other stuff, some of which I can't actually talk about yet. Other new, cool, exciting things. But yeah. Just a quick rundown. I don't like to talk about myself that much. Let's move on to something else. And Drugi says, what is the best way to join a dig, and who can you talk to? Who can you talk to? Start sending emails out. That's the thing, is that like, paleontological crews like ours are probably booked up for next year already, but there are across Utah, around the United States, throughout North America, and around the world who could really use your help if you'd like to volunteer on a field crew. We've got people here on the crew who just happen to send an email and be like, hey, you know, I'm really interested in doing field work. I want to get into paleontology, or, you know, I think I'd be good on a crew. I'd love to be able to help out. Just send an email. You've got to do some digging yourself, though, some metaphorical digging, sleuthing, I guess you could say. Do some internet searches, you know? Get to know what are the museums in your area or in your region. Where do you think it would be cool to do field work? Go through the literature and learn some of the names and see who's working in certain areas, and then contact them and be like, hey, I'm really interested in getting involved. Here's how I think I can help. Here's experience that I have, or skills that I possess, or I'm just really enthusiastic. I'd love to get trained on the job. There's lots of different ways that you can volunteer, either in the field or in the laboratory or in museum collections or wherever. Field work wasn't my entry point into, you know, my first paleontology in like a semi-professional capacity. Paleontology museum, not too far from where I grew up. The train from, you know, like Walnut Creek, California, after taking the bus or getting a ride to the train station. I could take a train to Berkeley, California, and that is where I started at the Museum of Paleontology at the University of California in Berkeley. Dr. Patricia Holroyd took pity on me as a bright, bushy-tailed high schooler. I said, hey, I emailed them just out of the blue. My dad encouraged me to do this. Shout out, Dad. And he says, Mijo, see if they have a volunteer program, and if they don't, ask if you can start one. So I want to be involved with paleontology however I can be as a high schooler. If that means coming in every day and mopping the floors, I'd be glad to do it, you know? Because those aren't just any floors. Those are the museum's floors. That's actually a line I took from Roy Chapman Andrews, who got his start at the American Museum of Natural History in New York, doing the same thing. He said, hey, I don't know if you have any job openings, but, you know, make me a janitor. I just want to be there in the museum. And then, a couple decades later, he's director of the museum. You never know where these things can lead. If anybody is enthusiastic about paleontology, or biology, or geology, or botany, or history, archaeology, whatever your passion might be, if there's a classic cars museum in your town and you're like, that would be really cool to be able to work, reach out to them. Meet those people. See if you can get involved, you know? Like I was saying earlier in the stream, one of the keys to happiness in this life, I think, is doing something you're passionate about, something you believe in, something that's meaningful to you. Not just the 9-to-5 job, not just the rat race, but something that you're actually jazzed about, you know? And then you can be around people who are also excited about the same things that you get excited about. You can find community there and just have a reason to be excited about being alive, you know? I want everybody to be able to have that kind of personal fulfillment. And I think for far too many people, they never do that because, well, they don't realize that that's a possibility, you know? Because that's not what our society is structured around. Certainly not. You know, get back in the cubicle, go work for the man, you know? Boss makes a dime. You know, at least you can spend that dime on, I don't know, reality television, online gambling, whatever. Everybody just wants something from you, and they want to take and take and take from you. And it's impossible to escape from that entirely. You got to be, you know, as George Costanza said, you know, we're living in a society. That's true, but it doesn't mean you have to lead a joyless existence. You could do things that are meaningful to you, things that make your life better, reasons to wake up in the morning, you know? Pursue those things. Go for it. My advice. Anywho. And that's very cool, Kennedy. And AM&H is an incredible museum. Yeah. Anywho. Yeah. And Drugi says, my girlfriend worked at the Natural History Museum in LA cleaning bones, and she worked on digs.
Ontogeny.
But we all... Awesome, Drugi. Yeah. Yeah, very cool stuff. Yeah. People have something, project, some sort of large thing larger than themselves that they're working toward. Anyways, and you meet cool people who have similar values to you, and you form community, and those are all just really healthy things, you know? And our society today doesn't encourage that. People being individualistic, shut off from... Well, then they find things to feel something, and that's not how to be happy. Yeah. And let's see here. I don't understand that reference, Crimson. That soars over my head. Yeah. Local brewery had trivia night, and last night the theme was dinosaurs, but you weren't feeling well. I wonder how I would have done. Kennedy, you probably would have. You would have won. Holy cow. And Akira Clip says, do most paleontologists have a preferred method of classifying species? So we all use the, you know, phylogenetics. So most species are actually related to one another through evolution. That's how we classify living things, based on what they actually are. Yeah, so cladistics is part of that. Yeah, but if you just you do like a Wikipedia search for phylogenetics, that's standard. That's, you know, we're interested in how critters are actually related to one another. That's how we classify them. Yeah. Anywho, good stuff. And Reiko, how are you doing? Hello, hello. Yeah. Does this mean you're not streaming right now, Reiko? Shoot, it's Thursday afternoon. Who am I going to raid into? We'll find somebody. Anyway, we've been going for almost 3.5 hours at this point. I should probably wrap this up because I want to actually help with taking down tarps and everything today. I want to make sure that I'm not just leaving everybody else to do the hard stuff, like packing the site up in order to go back to camp. So we are going to wrap up this stream presently. Oh, read it out to Nerduino. Very nice, Reiko. Well, maybe I'll do the same. Let's see who else is on Twitch right now. watch. Following. Let's see. Balint is on with Science Streams. Yeah, let's go right into Science Streams. I'll at least. There we go. Excellent. This has been a fun one today. Kind of a low-key stream. We had some good questions, some good discussion. You know, every day is different because we've got new people trickling in and out. You know, we'll find new elements. There's different things to do in the chat. The weather's doing different things, although it's always hot. But thanks for being here today, everybody. It's a joy and a privilege to be able to share this stuff with you. And again, I find this kind of thing energizing. I love to be able to showcase the work that we do here and answer people's questions and, you know, just to show you rather than just tell you what paleontology is all about. Thanks for making that possible. Let's start that up there. Excellent. We're going to raid into science streams in just a bit, so don't go away just yet. We're going to raid. I think Balint is doing some pirate games or something. But Balint is a molecular and systems biologist and a good friend of mine. I'm honored to share this platform with him. If you haven't seen science streams before, I hope you enjoy. Balint is an excellent scientist and just a good guy. So I hope you enjoy hanging out with him. Thank you to everybody who showed up today, all of the viewers, including those quiet lurkers. I appreciate you too, even if you don't say anything. You help get those numbers up, and thanks for listening to me yammer about all this stuff. I appreciate it. The subscribers, the gifters, the cheerers, the people who make these streams possible through their finances. Could not do this without you. Thank you. Welcoming stream for us to come in and learn about paleontology. I appreciate you more than you know, mods, and I look forward to seeing, hopefully, most if not all of you tomorrow. Same time, same place for some more paleontologizing. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Let's go check out science.